Good evening and welcome to Veterans Memorial Stadium in Snohomish for our matchup tonight between the Snohomish Panthers and the Monroe Bearcats. I'm Chris King along with Scott Eklund. Thanks for joining us here. Another great, beautiful Friday night. And Scott, we got a great WESCO matchup on tap for us here.
Yeah, you referenced the night. I've been to 5 games so far this year and 5 beautiful nights. It's homecoming night up here at Snohomish High School, and it's, you got all the pageantry of that, but you also have 2 pretty evenly matched teams. Monroe's probably the better team, but Snohomish has some players on this team, especially including one Russell Crippen.
In Snohomish, the home team comes into this game a 1-4 overall record. Both teams have just played one conference game. They are 0-1. Monroe, on the other hand, they're 2-3, but their one conference game, a big victory for them, defeating and probably called an upset over Lake Stevens.
Yeah, Lake Stevens is down a little bit from the team that they were last year. They lost a lot of seniors, but that's still a very good program up there. They've got a lot of talent. For Monroe to go up there and beat them on their home turf, that was really a huge win and has kind of given them a little bit of momentum. We need to see how they're going to build off of that, because last week they did suffer the 21-0 loss to Woodinville.
Colin Shelton out there to boot it off for Snohomish. Waiting back deep is Hunter Bingham, along with Peter Campman, waiting for the kickoff. As you mentioned, Scott, homecoming night, a great crowd here. The fans are still filing in, a lot of red and white, but a lot of Halloween colors as well. Those colors for the Monroe Bearcats, the orange, black, and white.
A really good student section came over from Monroe High School today, and you don't see that at a lot of schools. So I think the momentum this team has built up has really encouraged their fan base to really support them.
And we are ready to get going here. A good leg on the kicker, Shelton. And we immediately have a whistle and a flag. So an interesting start to the night. A little anticlimactic as the flag down at the 45-yard line on the far side of the field.
Not the way you want to start off a game with a penalty right away, but looked like there was probably some offsides or something like that. And we're going to kick off a little bit deeper, I think.
And that's what the call will be. So we'll push the Panthers back 5 yards. Both teams coming into this week off of losses, and losses that were lopsided by their standards, losing 48-17. The Panthers lost to Arlington last week, and for Monroe, they were shut out. A very tough team. They had to face Woodinville in an on-league game.
Yeah, and Woodinville is a very good team, and rebound. I mean, they were in the state semifinals last year. They did lose quite a bit, but they're still a very talented team. So nothing bad about losing to them, but 21-0, you got to score more points.
And Monroe, the week before that, only needed 9 points to defeat Lake Stevens, 9-7, the final score in their victory over the Vikings. Here, more of a squib kick after it was pushed back 5 yards. Grabbing and coming out is Gabe Moore. Moore has some room over to the left side. He's out to the 40-yard line, finally tripped up, coming in and making the tackle. None other than the kicker himself, Colin Shelton, being forced to do his own dirty work.
Yeah, and that's something that you like to see. It gets the kickers involved, but unfortunately the ball's back out on the 41-yard line, and good starting field position for the Bearcats.
Monroe, again, did not score last week. They were shut out to Woodinville. They'd love nothing more than to come out here on the opening drive and to put up 7 points.
Always want to get off to a good start.
Mitchell Price, the quarterback, hands it off to Hunter Bingham after his nice kickoff return. Gets a few yards on the play. The tackle coming in, being made by Garrett Stitch, the two-way starter for the Panthers.
Yeah, Stitch came off of the edge right there and held his ground, squared his guy up, and really tackled him, only allowed about a 3-yard gain.
So for the starting offense for Monroe, they're being led by Mitchell Price. In the backfield with him, Gabe Moore, along with Brandon Hirano. As this one goes once more to Moore, and he gets a little bit of that jersey and is drugged down to the turf, so not much there. Will bring up 3rd and 6 coming up.
Yeah, good inside-out pursuit by Snohomish right there. They held strong on the edge, and that allowed the inside guys to come over and make the play.
Mitchell Price, the senior quarterback. Also, we'll see Hunter Bingham behind there as well. 3rd and a long 6 here from the 44-yard line. The handoff goes to Gabe Moore, looking for some room on the corner. Cuts inside. That will do it for the first down. Good vision to cut back in, and he gets pushed forward for the first down, making the tackle Isaac Meyer for the Panthers.
And on that Stitch, he actually had the chance to make the tackle short of the first down, but because he had to come from so far away, he was out of position to make the play, and Moore was able to cut off of him and allowed him to get the first down on that. Good run by him, good vision.
So we'll give them a fresh set of downs in Snohomish territory, 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Mitchell Price, under pursuit, will have to scramble over to his right. His only option, well, looked at first, it'd be Moore throwing it away, and making a good effort was Hunter Bingham, but couldn't come up with it.
Good pursuit there by the defensive end from Snohomish out there, and that's the play you want to see from your quarterback. Make a good decision, get outside the pocket, and give yourself a chance to make the play, but only throw it where your receiver can have it. Since he didn't get it, it's an incomplete pass. You live to play another day. Thanks
for joining us here tonight. Just the opening drive of the game. No score between Snohomish and Monroe. 10-19 to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Moore goes in motion. They hand it off to him. Looking for a tackle. Slips one defender. Looking for a block guy should stay. And instead, he gets the tackle. Got behind 2 Snohomish defenders, but just too many red jerseys swarming around him. No gain.
Yeah, and on this, you'll watch Monroe. They actually are running a really tight formation. They're running with 7 offensive linemen, essentially. They might be a tight end mixed in there. But then they have 2 wing backs and only 1 running back who they send in motion. So that's something that you need to look for from Monroe the rest of the night. How do they for these first drives are always about feeling out how the defense is going to play. How aggressive are they looking at? How are they going to do to stop us? And then you make adjustments off of that. Right now they're going for real tight formations.
3rd and 10. They converted on 3rd down last time. Can they do it again? Looking deep. Price puts it up, and it is incomplete. Off the back of the jersey of the defender, and we have a penalty marker coming in. It was Jacob Profit on the coverage for the Panthers, and it looks like he'll be the guilty party. You have to think that's pass interference.
Yeah, it looks like pass interference, but I've always been – I grew up a wide receiver, so, I'm always tend to fall on the wide receiver side, but on that one, if he gets his head around, it's not pass interference. So that's probably why they ended up calling it. But to me, penalties like that, I don't know. I just let the guys play. He wasn't trying to keep him from getting back to the ball.
A big break there for the Bearcats, one that they certainly won't argue with. So they went to 3rd down, was able to get the run to get it into Snohomish territory, and right there trying to do it through the air, the pass interference penalty, keeping this drive alive for Monroe.
Yeah, it's a 15-yard penalty, so it's going to put it on the 29 of Snohomish, it looks like. And Monroe's got some things cooking this early in the game, and which is something when you're on the road, it's homecoming, the fans are all into it. You want to get them out of the game. You want to get them kind of thinking about, hey, Monroe's going to come in here and steamroll us. That's what you want them thinking. So for Monroe to come down and possibly have a chance to score, they really need to convert this.
Monroe's last victory, that one over Lake Stevens on the road. Their other victory this season was back in Week 2, a 20-10 non-league victory over Juanita. 1st and 10, Gabe Moore the ball carrier, gets by 1 defender, out to the 20-yard line, again cuts back in. He'll be awful close to the first down. They'll mark him down at the 16, and he'll have plenty, actually, for the first down.
And that was another thing. It looks like Stitch is going to be all over Moore tonight because he had a chance to make the play back there right at the line of scrimmage, and Moore just outran him to the edge and then got a first down.
So the drive continues. 1st and 10 from the 16. 9:10 to go in the first quarter. Along with Scott Eklund, Chris King joining you here tonight at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Can Monroe light up that scoreboard first here on the road? Mitchell Price with Max Blaze with him in the backfield. The handoff goes to Hunter Bingham. A battle for the ball, and able to hold on to it is Hunter Bingham. And he chops forward for a few yards on the carry.
Now that one was a true fly sweep where the receiver runs underneath. Looks like he's going in motion, but they hike it right before he gets there. They hand it off to him, and he's able to get it pretty much going full speed. You saw the middle linebacker shoot through a gap, but he was too slow because of the motion that the receiver went in and already had that running head start.
3 yards for Bingham on the carry. The junior setting up 2nd and 7. Monroe has had to go to 3rd down every time to get that first down. Trying to avoid that here. Rolling over to his right. Price under pursuit, almost being dropped. Sends up a wobbler into the end zone, and it is intercepted. Veteran move. Jacob Profit grabs the tip ball, takes the knee, and the Panthers will take over at the 20-yard line.
And that's a heck of a play by Profit right there. Now, when you're coaching Price, we talked about it earlier how he threw the ball away. There, his receiver actually had great position. He threw it right where the receiver could have made the catch, but Profit just out-dueled the receiver and was able to get Owen, and it looked like we got a penalty.
I couldn't quite hear.
Maybe
I know the PA
bounds.
announcer just announced it. I think that's the call, that he was out of bounds, and it's incomplete. Because right now the scoreboard tells us it's 3rd and 7. It was a heck of an effort by Profit.
Wow. Maybe I shouldn't talk so much. Maybe I should let the announcer say something.
Well, 3rd and 7 after the incompletion, and it is Gabe Moore one more time, a hard stiff arm, and he will have the first down inside the 5-yard line, down to the 3, a 10-yard pickup, and Monroe doesn't waste any time to get inside and get knocking on the door near the end zone.
Yeah, Moore just demoralized Snohomish right there. Gets outside, gets a good run on, when that's a big swing of emotion, and that's something that the coaches at Snohomish really have to work with their guys on and say, hey, that play happened. We can't do anything about it. This is how it was called. We got to just go from there.
1st and goal from the 3. Under center, the quarterback Price will have 3 men in the backfield. They hand it off one more time, and it is Gabe Moore, spins around and is denied the goal line. Oh, so close. He's down to the 1.
Looked like he actually had a little bit more of a gap that he could have run through if he had just waited another second, but good play by the Panthers right there to stop him, and now we got 2nd and about 6 inches.
I think that'd be the call, and Monroe hasn't scored a touchdown last week. They've only scored 9 points over the last 2 games, and here the Bearcats with a chance to score a touchdown on the opening drive of the game. The question is, can they punch it in? 2nd and goal, less than a yard to go. It's the quarterback, Mitchell Price, who takes it for himself. What's the indication? He's in. Touchdown, Bearcats. They take the 6-0 lead.
Gave the look of a power formation on that. Looked like you were just going to run a power set right there with 3 running backs in the backfield, and he just takes it in for a quarterback sneak for a touchdown. Now that's one where you wonder, is that called? Is that a called quarterback sneak, or is that something that Price saw when he walked up to the line, gave his center a tap, and just said, hike me the ball, and I'm going in right behind you?
Either way, the result's a good one for Monroe, and what a swing when you think we thought there was an interception. Snohomish would have it, and then Monroe, right after, strikes and gets the touchdown. Tanner Olson on for the point after attempt. The kick is up, and it is good. 7-0 our score. 7:15 to go in the first quarter. Monroe doing a nice job on that opening drive. Never really looked easy for them, having to go to 3rd down, getting helped out by the pass interference penalty, and then having the close call go their way that it was incomplete. But at the end of it, the Bearcats get a touchdown.
Yeah, and that's the way you want to start off. If you're on the road, you're Monroe, you're on the road. I mentioned earlier that it's homecoming. Got a lot of emotion here in the stands, and it's the way you want to just silence the crowd, get them thinking, hey, this is going to be a roll for Monroe. If you're Snohomish, now what you say to yourself, okay, that drive's over with. We had a chance to make a play. Our guys actually did make a couple plays on that drive. So we have the guys to play with this team. We just need to come out here and execute. Now, on offense, we need to take advantage of the chances that we get, because we might not get a lot, because they rolled off almost 5 minutes of clock on that drive right there. It's because they run the ball a lot. So that's something that Snohomish is going to have to keep an eye on.
Teeing up the ball, Tanner Lippincott for Monroe. The big two-way player, the big man, 5'10", 235 pounds, relying on all the meat from him to get a good kickoff here as he handles the kickoff duties for Monroe. 7-0, the Panthers will grab it. Lippincott, a high end-over-end kick, taken back at the 10-yard line. The Panthers bring it out, getting to the 20, out to the 25, a wall of defenders, and finally being brought down is Riley Herzog. And he sprawls out just past the 30, and that's where the Panthers will start to work.
Good starting field position. Now let's see what they can do with it. Snohomish does have a decent offense. They've got Russell Crippen, who is running a lot of the stuff for them, and he's they have the athletes to play with Monroe. We just need to see if they're able to go out and do it now.
Panthers led by Kyle Janae, the senior quarterback, under center. 1st and 10 from the 32. The Panthers trailing 7-0. The handoff goes up the middle. The pitch was faked after and straight up the gut. A good result for the Panthers as they get 6 yards on the run.
And that looked like Kyle Stitch, who took the fullback dive on that play and was able to get up there and get a good gain on first down. So now he leaves you 2nd and 4. And a lot of different things you can do with 2nd and 4 rather than 2nd and 8.
Stitch and Herzog in the backfield, I formation, under center. Janae here on 2nd and 4. They hand it off once more. Going to the left side, a 3-yard pickup, and they chip away and get it 1 yard shy of the first down on 3rd down coming up.
Great hit out there by a couple of Bearcats, but Dylan Judson's the one who came up and really racked him on that play.
Judson, a tight end and a linebacker for Monroe, one of their top players, a guy who more than likely will be able to play on Saturday somewhere in the future.
Yeah, he looks like a kid who could definitely play Big Sky, possibly like at a Central Washington and a Division II level, but definitely has the ability to play.
3rd and 1 from the 38. They hand it off to Herzog. Tripped up, but he sprawls forward and has the first down. Makes it out to the 44-yard line, gets 3 yards on the run, and the chains move for Snohomish.
And right there, you see what Snohomish is going to need to do. They're running power right at this pretty good size Bearcats defense. So they're running power right now, and that's something that you need to watch for is what adjustments does Monroe make? Are they going to bring their linebackers a little further inside? And that will allow Snohomish to get outside.
1st and 10, 5:30 to go here in the first quarter. Monroe up 7-0. They had a long drive. Snohomish on their first drive of the game. Go right up the middle again to Stitch. That was the first down play they had to start this drive, and another solid gain puts it out to the 46.
Yeah, 3 yards right there. Down at 2nd and 7. You could see them start to look at maybe some play action off of some of this because they have run the ball 4 straight times. Maybe they run play action off of this and get something where you get the quarterbacks on Janae on the move.
A name we haven't seen yet or haven't called out yet, Russell Crimpen, one of the top athletes, a guy you mentioned before, Scott. 2nd and 8 here from the 46. They hand it off. Not much there. A wall of white jerseys bringing the ball carrier back.
And did you see how Janae has really extended the ball so he can? That's called showing the ball. And what you want to do is you want to show the defense the ball, and then they don't know where it goes. It really allows for your play action. It's kind of the setup to play action. So when you go out, you really extend the ball. The defense sees it, and then they read run when maybe it is a pass.
Riley Herzog, again, the ball carrier there. Talking to the coaches before the game, they said maybe Peter St. Marie, one of their great athletes, great running back from last year, could come back and play his first game of the season. 3rd and 7. They'll try their first pass attempt of the game, and it's intercepted. The Bearcats have it, taking it back. Peter Campman, and he's forced out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And the Bearcats up 7-0, get the ball back in Snohomish territory.
Janae had an open wide receiver. He just overthrew his man, and Campman was just there camping out. And really just the ball was thrown directly to him. He caught it and made a good return out of it. Now Monroe is on the door of possibly going up by 14 here very early in the game.
So things, when you go from that interception in the end zone, what looked to be an interception for Snohomish, turned out to be an incompletion. Really, everything since then has been good news for the Bearcats, except that right there. Gabe Moore being dropped in the backfield. Snohomish, excellent penetration from that front defensive line. And it was Ty Carlson who made that tackle for a loss.
Yeah, and on that, the first time we've seen that kind of penetration from the Panthers. They need to get that on several plays here to help out their offense.
Pistol formation here. Mitchell Price with it will keep it for himself. The quarterback, a good athletic move to try to get a few yards back. He'll get to the 40-yard line, so he picks back 4 up, but it was 2nd and 13 on the play, so makes it 9 yards to go for the first down.
Yeah, and on that play, just ran, they call it a quarterback power where he just sweeps and goes behind the fullback. But there was, once again, good penetration. That looked like it could have gone for a lot more yardage, but Snohomish was able to seal up the hole and only allow a 4-yard gain.
Can the Panthers get a big defensive stop here? Monroe was able to convert every time on third down in the opening drive of the game. Can they do it again here? And it looks like we'll have a procedure penalty. The flag comes down. The whistles go off right away.
And on that one, it looked like Corey Brown, I think, that ended up moving the tight end on that end, and not something you wanted to see if you're Monroe. Not like it wasn't already 3rd and 9 already. Now it's 3rd and 14.
So that'll push them back 5 yards. Monroe scoring their first touchdown. Mitchell Price, the quarterback, just a 1-yard run into the end zone. Point after is good, 7-0 our score. 2:48 to go here in the first quarter at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Snohomish. And we have a timeout called by Snohomish. So the first timeout of the game. The Panthers will try to dial it up here on defense on 3rd and 14. Try to set up a punt, obviously, and get good field position in the ball back.
Yeah, and I'm always a big believer in playing aggressive. But this 3rd and 14, you got a quarterback in Price who's an athletic quarterback. Maybe just play a little contained. Don't let him get out and run. And just sit back in coverage, play a little cover 2 so that you can double up some guys and just make this so that they're not able to pick up a first down. Because last time they had a 3rd and long, they were able to get 15 yards out of it. And hopefully they coach their defensive backs to turn around when the ball's in the air.
Here in WESCO 4A North action. Reclassification after this last year, so things getting kind of shaken up a little bit. The WESCO 4A North right now, Arlington, Monroe, Lake Stevens, Snohomish, and Mount Vernon. Monroe 1-0 in conference, Snohomish 0-1. Arlington in first place right now. They are 2-0 on the year.
Yeah, Mount Vernon was in the Northwest Conference, I believe. They were the only 3A school along with Ferndale, but they never played Ferndale. So the coaches there told me that they just decided to go WESCO and get it done with.
3rd and 14. We see a draw play and nothing happening there. Snohomish not taking the bait, and this will bring up 4th and long. And Mount Vernon coming back to the WESCO. They left after the 2005 season. Now they're back in the conference that they once called home.
Yeah, and Mount Vernon's got a really good quarterback up there, and they've got a wide-open offense. Last year they played in the state playoffs. They lost to O'Day, who finished 2nd in the state, so nothing to really be too upset about, although you always want to win. But, Mount Vernon's got a good program rolling up there, and the WESCO isn't the strongest conference top to bottom, but they have some pretty good teams, including Meadowdale in the 3A, and then you throw in some other schools like Edmonds Woodway, Kamiak, and Lake Stevens in the 4A.
4th and 16, Boomer Vore calling a fair catch on the punt. The Panthers will start at their own 16-yard line with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Monroe up 7-0. Bennett Gibson, the signal caller for the Bulldogs. WESCO always a fun conference to be able to follow every year.
Yeah, and part of it's just because it's so spread out. You've got so many schools in so many different areas. You got all the way up to Oak Harbor, Mount Vernon, but you also have down south, Linwood High School, Meadowdale. You got Edmonds Woodway. That's the furthest south it really goes is Edmonds. So a lot of good teams in this conference.
Janae under center, 2 men in the backfield. And the ball carrier this time is Peter St. Marie. So that is his first carry of the season. St. Marie rushed for over 1,100 yards last year and had 17 touchdowns. Named WESCO All-First Team, but St. Marie broke his tibia bone in his leg over the summer, and he's missed the whole season up until now. And now we see his debut here, getting 1 yard on that first carry.
Yeah, and with him as well as Herzog and a couple of the other players that are in the Panthers' backfield, they have waves of running backs to throw at defenses. Now they just need to figure out how to use all of them.
So St. Marie back there now, that tool back available for the Panthers. The pass goes out to the right side. Reception made, the first reception in this game for the Panthers. And Janae hooking up with his wide receiver. That was Russell Crippen, is what it looked like on the reception to get the first down.
And there you see Crippen's speed and length. He's got it all. And the funny thing is, we were talking before the broadcast, he's not even going to end up playing football at the next level. It looks like he's going to be a baseball player because he's a heck of a baseball player. Last year led the conference in eight interceptions. Very athletic kid, big, strong, physical, can play basketball, baseball, and football.
A great multi-sport athlete. 1st and 10 here for the Panthers. Another passing play, none other than Crippen again. He has some room to go, slices back up the middle, and is tackled at the 43-yard line, a 12-yard reception, and another first down for the Panthers.
Yeah, 2 quick plays right out to Crippen. Just get the ball. Anybody who's watched any broadcast that I've been on, I've always been a big believer in you get the ball into your best playmakers' hands. Well, the running backs for this team are solid, but they're grinded out guys. Crippen is your big play guy.
And here's Snohomish starting to pick up a head of steam, and that is with St. Marie in the backfield too. Now Crippen starting to get warmed up. The handoff goes to St. Marie, and nothing there. Penetrating in the backfield and making the stop, Hunter James, the senior linebacker. A big tackle for a loss, and that takes it back 4 yards.
Woo! Only 6 foot, 195 pounds, but that was a play that a 240-pounder, you just love to see that. He shot the gap, read it perfectly, and St. Marie had no chance on that. Now, that's a play that maybe next quarter, third quarter, the quarterback keeps it, rolls it out, and now you've got a wide open area for him to clean pocket to have to throw.
2nd and 14. Looks like this will be the last play of the quarter. 10 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Monroe up 7-0. Going over the left side, it's St. Marie. High steps over one defender, puts his shoulder down, and goes out of bounds, and that will be the first quarter. Snohomish driving, but Monroe getting the only points of the quarter, 7-0. Well, maybe not. Hold the phone. Scoreboard has 000. No horn went off, but that will be the end of the first quarter. So we'll take a timeout. Monroe up 7-0 as we head to the second quarter. You're watching the Snohomish Panthers and the Monroe Bearcats on PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium in Snohomish, along with Scott Eklund. Chris King here with you, 7-0. The Monroe Bearcats scoring on the opening drive of the game. Mitchell Price, the quarterback, a 1-yard touchdown run. But here are the Panthers as we start the second quarter, Scott. They were putting together a nice drive and look to keep that going.
Yeah, they're right up around midfield. They haven't been in Monroe territory yet. They've only had the ball once right now, and they threw an interception. So, The defense definitely picked up the offense, so now it's time for the offense to say, all right, we need to get some points here. We need to get down at the very least, drive it down so that we can put Monroe on their heels a little bit.
3rd and 5 for the Panthers, trying to keep that drive going and get into Bearcat territory, as you said, for the first time today. They hand it off to St. Marie, looking for a block, and he's still up on his feet. That second effort after the initial contact, well, that gets him into Monroe territory. He needed to get to the 48, and he'll be just a yard shy right there at the 49.
Yeah, that was a great run. Actually, it was a very good block by the wide receiver out there. I think Snohomish is going to look at this. They don't have a lot to lose in this right now, and I think Snohomish is going to come up. They've got 3 pretty good running backs, and they've also got Russell Crippen, so they've got a lot of different options that they can do here. So let's see what they do. I think they're going to dial up a dive and maybe a little misdirection.
We've seen the fullback Stitch with 2 carries, both times pretty healthy pickups. So it's Stitch, the up back, and behind him, St. Marie. 4th and 1 from the 48. They need 1. As everyone dialed up in the box for Monroe, nothing there. Big stop by the Bearcats, push them back a yard, but the most important thing, they deny him the first down, and Monroe takes over.
And on that one, it was pretty much red. That's another one where, as the quarterback or the coach, you got to see they're keying on St. Marie, and he doesn't look like he's 100%. I saw him run last year. He's not running the exact same. I mean, obviously he's just coming back from his injury, but you definitely want to see them use him as a decoy a little bit more, especially when they were keying on him on a couple of those plays.
So midfield is where the Bearcats will take over after the defensive stop. Again, it is Gabe Moore, who has been the workhorse in this early going of this game. The ball carrier gets 4 yards, slices straight forward to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, and on this pace, just in the first quarter, he had 9 carries. So if we just extrapolate that out to 4, he's almost at 40 carries in the game. I doubt that's what you're going to see. But one thing that what they're doing right now is they're kind of punching away, softening up Snohomish and trying to figure out what they can do. And now you might see them put the ball in the hands of Price a little bit more.
2nd and 6. It's Gabe Moore once more. The junior gets forward for a first down to the 39-yard line, but we see a flag flying in from behind the offense.
Now it looks like it's probably going to be holding or maybe an illegal block downfield. It's hard to say right now. It looks like holding.
A reminder, PlayOnSports.com, not only your destination for Friday night football action, it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events and all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
And now if you're Snohomish, now you can kind of dial something up. Now it's back to, what is that, 2nd and 14 or 2nd and 16 when it was 2nd and 6 before, and they had just gotten a first down. So now's your chance to go and make a play, try and get your offense back, get the ball back. The defense is held pretty strong. It looked like they were going to make a play on that first drive of Monroe's, but it ended up a touchdown. But, for the most part, I've been pretty impressed by Snohomish's defense.
2nd and 16, a minute into the second quarter. 7-0, Monroe leads. Quarterback Mitchell Price hands it up right up the middle, and hurdling and losing the football, and the action is Gabe Moore. That ball is loose, a big pile there. It looked like the first man there was a Monroe player, but who comes up with it?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and right now is when you got guys kind of digging underneath the pile. It looks like this is probably going to be Monroe's ball, and I believe they're going to spot it back where the ball was fumbled, so it won't be a first down, but it'll be 3rd and about 3 from where they're spotting it looks like.
Moore on that play looked like a slingshot after being handed the ball. He had plenty of room to go. And you're right on where the ball will be spotted, so not bad. Even though they'll be short of the first down on 2nd and 16, you couldn't ask for much more on the play.
Yeah, big run over there by on that side, and the left side of that offensive line, Brennan Brown, Lucas Waller, Tyler Collins, Jacob Wegenast. Sorry. I should have got my pronunciation guide at the beginning of this game. But, those 4 over there kind of rotate around a little bit, and they opened up a wide hole, and he was just able to burst through it. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 3, I think.
The officials are conferring on that, and that's what it'll be. The ball on the 44-yard line, so it will be 3rd and 4.
And is it me? Do you not like these campus stadiums rather than having a big one right in the middle of town or something like that? I love it. I love this.
A great environment here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And Snohomish, so they're trailing 7-0 right now. Very festive atmosphere. Homecoming here for the Panthers. And my favorite, when you look down at the cheerleaders, there's 2 Panthers to go with it. Not just one mascot, they have 2.
It's homecoming.
3rd and 4. They hand it off to Moore again, and he is bear hugged and slammed back down to the turf. Making first contact for Snohomish, Kyle Yeoman, 6'3", 210 pounds. First contact, and really the only contact that mattered.
Yeah, it did. But he got a lot of help from his friends too. He was gonna be able to take him down for little to no gain, and it looks like a 2-yard loss here. But he had a bunch of his teammates come in and make sure that he got him down. And that's what you like to see. If you're a coach, you want to see your guys constantly flying to the ball.
9:45 left to go here in the first half. Monroe 5 yards shy of the first down. And Moore, who's gotten plenty of work so far, is back to punt this one off. Snohomish was waiting for a moment to send someone back, and they will put Boomer Vorey back to receive this punt. Vorey has returned to punt this year. He had a 59-yard kickoff return, I should say, for a touchdown in the big rivalry matchup with Glacier Peak. So the punt goes inside the 5-yard line, grabbed by Hunter Bingham, And it will be down, and it will be a long distance to go, 95-plus yards for the Panthers.
Vorey right there might have returned one earlier this year, but that was a huge mistake on his part. You need to take that ball, give yourself a little bit of field position. That would have been up around the 12, 13, 14-yard line. Now they're back on their own 2. That's something that, you don't want to get on the kid too much. They're high school players. They're still trying to figure out this game sometimes, but that's a big mistake that you can't afford, especially when you're only down by 7. It's 9 minutes left. You could have one more. If your offense is able to drive down, you could be tied up with only a couple minutes left in this half.
They mark it down at the 3-yard line. 1st and 10. A quick hit on the handoff, and not much there. Maybe a yard on the carry to the fullback Stitch. But the Bearcats, so we saw them stop them on 4th down last time, and they are holding strong here with Snohomish pinned back deep in their own territory.
Yeah, great play in there by the interior of that Bearcats defensive line. They're really big across that defensive line. They average about 230 pounds, which for high school level, that's pretty big. And they're active, and that's something that you like to see. And we've kind of talked about it beforehand. This Monroe team is really starting to gel and become a pretty good program.
They don't give him a gain on the play. So 2nd and 10 from the 3-yard line. St. Marie, the ball carrier, and he spun around. He might get to the 4 that time, but either way, it will set up 3rd and long, only a yard on the run.
Yeah, and here, if you're Snohomish, you're just going to probably run this ball. At the very most, you're going to do a, play action where you look like you're going to run it, get him out, get the quarterback outside, and if he doesn't have anything, he can just kind of get what yards he's able to get.
So far, only 2 completed passes for the Panthers in this game, both going to Russell Crippen.
And none for Monroe. So we've only seen 2. I think we've seen, 4 passes total, 3 for Snohomish and 1 for...
Algenet under center, and the pass is incomplete. And St. Marie, the intended target on the play. It will bring up 4th and 9, and the Panthers deep in their own territory. The Bearcats have to be licking their chops. They're going to get excellent field position.
And if that wasn't a first down, it was definitely going to be close. St. Mary's has to make those plays, and he knew it. Right after it, he dropped it. He knew he needed to make that play, and that's one where you've got a bubble over the slot, which is where he was. You've got a bubble over there, and it's an easy pitch and catch type play.
Colin Shelton, not a whole lot of room to work here. Very good kicker along with the punter is back there. It is off the crossbar, and that is a safety. 2 points go to the Bearcats. A high snap, a costly mistake, and now Monroe is up 9-0.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate. The center knows he has to get it back there faster than he really needed to, and unfortunately he snaps it over the head. It actually hits the crossbar, but that's out of bounds, and that's a safety. And now they've got to kick off to Monroe. Although, the one thing I will say is Monroe won't have the best field position that they would have had. They would have probably had the ball inside the Snohomish 40 on that play.
That's an excellent point. I don't think there's any doubt. We saw Gabe Moore lining up right around the 40, and you think that's worst-case scenario if Shelton gets off a good point, and he didn't have a whole lot of room there to work with. So
no.
Monroe does get points out of it. They'll get the ball back. But as you mentioned, probably won't have as good a field position as they would have had.
And now if you're the Snohomish coaches, they have a free kick. They do have the option of kicking off of the ground or punting. And I believe it's from the 20-yard line is where they kick it off from. So Monroe's going to get great field position on this. A lot of teams elect to do the punt because you can sky the ball a little bit further, hope for some better coverage, whereas with the kick, you're just driving it and hoping to get it deeper.
7:53 to play in the second quarter. Now 9-0 the score in favor of the Monroe Bearcats. They're coming off their best season in 19 years. Monroe 2-3 coming into this game, 1-0 in conference. Second conference game of the season in the WESCO North 4A for both squads. And we'll see this one by Shelton be booted off as a punt, grabbing it at the 34-yard line, and coming out for Monroe, being spun around at first is Shandon Mixophone, and he gets it out to the 44-yard line, and they will have good field position to start with. The Bearcats up 9-0. And Scott, if you're Monroe, you have to feel pretty good about this start coming on the road against Snohomish.
Oh, definitely, and you've got control of this game right now. You're running the ball well. even if you haven't put up a ton of points right now, you're saying to yourself, Snohomish really hasn't threatened us that much other than maybe a couple plays. They've only been 2 yards into our own end. We haven't been threatened very much defensively, and now they've got great field position. They're up on their own 44.
Senior quarterback Mitchell Price out of the shotgun, looking to do it through the air. Had an open receiver, but overthrew his target. Robbie Schaab was the man he was trying to hook up with.
Yeah, only the second pass, and it's second incompletion, unfortunately. And he did have a man out there. It looked like they ran a little bit of misdirection on that and got Snohomish thinking they were going to be going one way, and he threw it back the other way.
A reminder, Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information, along with links to great highlights. Follow us at playonsports.com on both Facebook and Twitter. Also access thousands of live events. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Gabe Moore, again, getting a lot of work. He gets 3 yards on the run, spun out to the 47-yard line. But Moore just carry after carry.
Yeah, if he keeps going at this pace, somebody's going to have to get his mom an ice machine to put at her house because he's going to need a nice ice bath at the end of this. But, has really just ground out stuff. Hasn't been a big play guy other than that one play that we saw on, 2nd and
when he fumbled
16,
the ball.
Yeah, fumbled the ball. So, he really hasn't had a lot of big plays. He's just a guy who'll get you 3 or 4 yards.
3rd and 8 coming up here. Price with some pressure in his face. A completion to Hunter Bingham. Trying to sprawl forward. He does just that to get the first down. Good second effort. Had his defender right in front of him, but cut inside. Got the first down to the 34. Exactly 10 yards on the pickup and enough for a first down.
Bingham made two guys miss and got the first down because he was going to be stopped short on that play. So great individual effort on his part.
Bearcats trying to add on to their 9-0 lead. Along with Scott Eklund, Chris King joining you here tonight at Veterans Memorial Stadium. It's homecoming here in Snohomish. Bearcats trying to play the spoiler role on homecoming. Fresh set of downs for them, 1st and 10. Handoff goes again to Moore. Over to the right side, we see a penalty flag come flying in. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and more than likely this will be a hold on Monroe.
Yeah, 6.5 minutes left. Driving down. Granted, they did just get a penalty, so it looks like it's going to be 2nd and 20. But on that play, basically what Monroe's trying to do is take the quote-unquote air out of the ball. They just want to drive this down, be as methodical as possible. If we break a big play, great. But what we want to do is we want to control this clock and make sure we go in the lead with them not scoring anything and us up at the minimum 12-0, if not 16-0.
Monroe scoring on the opening drive of the game. Mitchell Price, the quarterback, a 1-yard touchdown run. And then they were able to get the 2 more points off a safety. It was a punt attempt in the end zone. The snap went high, actually went off the crossbar. And it was a safety 9-0. Monroe up, and now they're on the drive after that safety. So the holding penalty will push it back and make it 1st and 20. Back inside their own territory at the 46.
We'd like to see them maybe run a play action on this, but, it's hard to say because you want them to run play action, but then it's like they've done so well on the ground. Why would you run play action?
3 men in the backfield. Going under center is Mitchell Price. And running right into Kyle Yeoman again is Gabe Moore. It seems like more so than a lot of games, we're saying the same names over and over. Gabe Moore, the ball carrier, and Kyle Yeoman, a high tackle he made. He doesn't get low. The guys run right into his arm, and he takes care of it from there.
Yeah, and there's a reason he's one of the leading tacklers on this team. He's everywhere. He pursues to the ball well, and he shows great recognition skills on making the play. On that one, he flowed over from his left outside linebacker position, came through, got through the trash, didn't get caught up in it, and was able to make the play.
Only 1 yard for Moore on that last carry. 2nd and 19. They go right up the gut. Able to get forward back into their own territory. It'll still set up 3rd and very long, 3rd and 14. But a little more breathing room than they had before.
Yeah, definitely. And that was Max Blaze who got the carry on that one. Good inside run, but still 3rd and about 14. So you're looking at what if you're the Monroe coaches, I say you just let Price get out on the edge and see what he can do with it, whether he makes plays with his legs or he gets it down the field.
No one in the backfield with the senior quarterback. He has Blaze over to his left. He has some time, going to put it up. Has an open receiver, but underthrows it, and it's interception. Garrett Stitch picks it off. He's out past midfield, cuts inside. No one in front of him. He's off to the races, to the 20, to the 10. No one's catching up with Stitch. Touchdown, Panthers. And you could feel the pendulum swing, the momentum shift right back to Snohomish with that big pick six.
Yeah, Stitch made a great play on that. They tried to run a wheel route. Price underthrew the ball. The receiver didn't see it. Either got it lost in the lights or something. And Stitch makes a play. And then what you want to see, and it looks like there is a flag. So, but that's probably after the play. So we're looking at Snohomish with the ball probably around their own 35 or so. Not what you definitely not what you want. That's two big plays that have been nullified for Snohomish. But they got the ball back, and now they're able to go. And if you're Monroe, that's not what you wanted to see from your quarterback. You wanted that one. You want to overthrow it if you're going to do anything.
So the touchdown is erased. 9-0 our score. And that flag back down in Snohomish territory at the 43-yard line.
That'll be a 10-yard penalty from where it occurred. But still, good job on getting the ball back for your offense, and actually you have a decent field position on this one. They're on their own 32, and maybe they've got 4.5 minutes. Maybe they can get something out of this and at least go into the half with some points on the board and only down 6 or 2 points somewhere in there.
And just looking through my chart here, Scott, charting all the big plays from the game, that's the first time that it really feels like there's been something positive for Snohomish. You look at that interception, it looked like they were going to have on the first drive in the end zone. That didn't stand, but here, Snohomish forces a turnover on Monroe. They have the ball down 9-0, 1st and 10 from their 32-yard line. The pass goes up, deflected in the air, and it is incomplete. One of those passes that makes you hold your breath for a moment as it seemed to languish in the air. Tanner Perry, the intended target.
Yeah, don't know where Janae was throwing the ball on that one because that was into quadruple coverage. His receiver ran a go route, and he threw more of like a slant. So I think there was a bit of miscommunication between the two on that one.
4.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. 2 timeouts for Snohomish. Monroe has all 3 left here in the first half. Stitch, the lone man in the backfield. Janae goes under center, fakes the handoff. The strike is incomplete, and the pass behind his intended target, Russell Crimpen.
Yeah, that looks like he's just a little too amped up. You know, the coaches need to settle him down and just say, look, we need you just to throw the ball, not aim it. We need you to throw it, but we also don't need you to go out there and throw the ball 10 feet over the guy's head.
So since taking over after the interception, only 9 seconds has come off the clock with these 2 plays, so that's not an issue for Snohomish. They just need to pick up some yards. It's 3rd and 10 here for the Panthers.
And 10 yards hasn't come very easily to Snohomish tonight so far, so they're kind of going against the odds right here.
Janae rolling out. He'll just keep it for himself. Tripped up at the 40-yard line, making the open field tackle. Gabe Moore, and one that is able to stop the Panthers from getting the first down. They'll be 2 yards shy. And the Panthers will have a decision here. We saw them go for it for 4th and short before, but it looks like they're deep enough in their own territory that they'll just boot this off.
Really surprised that Monroe didn't call timeout on this. Thought they would want to save a little bit of time, especially with their offense the way it is.
Colin Shelton off to punt it off. His last punt attempt, well, he didn't get to do it. The snap went over his head, and it was a safety. Gabe Moore goes jogging back to the 25-yard line, awaiting the punt on 4th and 2 from the 40-yard line. Shelton, a nice high punt. Moore calling for a fair catch, loses the ball. Snohomish gets it, and a bit of a delay on whether or not to take off. But the Panthers have the ball on the turnover, and coming up with it for Snohomish, the big man, John Sharp. He looked confused when the ball went in his hands.
Well, you know, and he probably knew that he can't advance it, so why expend the energy, because I'm out here trying to drive block all game long. But there is where we talk about the big play and how it translates. That's a big mistake by Gabe Moore right there, giving the ball back to Snohomish. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left. Plenty of time for Snohomish to run this ball, get some plays, get some positivity out of this half, and go in hopefully down only 2 points but if they're able to score.
That's 2 turnovers by Monroe in less than 1 minute of action. 3:39 to go. Janae rolling out to his left, has an open receiver, making the reception. Kyle Yeoman, the tight end, rumbles into the end zone, 26 yards. Snohomish, their first points of the night. The Panthers strike with a touchdown and now trail by 3, 9-6, with 3:31 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, great play right there. It's what I've said I've wanted to see from them for a while. A drag route by that tight end where you give the quarterback an easy throwing lane, and he hit his man out in the flat, and he just made a good move in the secondary and was able to get in for the touchdown. And now there's 3.5 minutes left for Monroe to try and answer this as well.
Colin Shelton on for the point after attempt. So in a minute and 1 second, we've seen 2 Monroe turnovers and then a 26-yard touchdown reception for the Panthers. So certainly a good stretch for the home team here. Shelton's kick is up. He drills it through. No lack of a leg on that point after attempt. And it's now 9-7 with 3:31 left to go in the second quarter.
Great lead throw out there. Just gets out and makes a cut. Makes it so that the safety can't make a tackle on him. Gets him for the touchdown. Now if you're Monroe, okay, guys, settle down. We still got the lead. We've pretty much owned this half except for the 2 turnovers that we've had. Let's just settle down. Let's see if we can get some positive yardage, maybe bust something loose and go into this half. Definitely up, but possibly adding to our lead.
You want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Well, tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. Along with Scott Eklund, Chris King here with you on homecoming night at Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Snohomish Panthers at home taking on the Monroe Bearcats. Monroe really having a firm grip on control of this game through the first quarter and a half, but Snohomish coming roaring back here and now just trail by 2. The difference in this game is that safety that there was before on the high snap on the punt attempt for the Panthers.
Yeah, and that's always based off of the field advantage that Monroe had almost the entire first half.
Colin Sheldon booting this one off. It goes off a Bearcat. Snohomish picks it up. In stride, the Panthers get it. An unconventional kickoff return and a fumble, and make that the 3rd turnover by Monroe. And checking this really quick, in the last a minute and 4 seconds of game action. That is the 3rd Monroe turnover.
Wow, huge play. This could give Snohomish a lot of momentum heading into the half. Once again, they have time to just kind of drive this down, use their running backs, use their quarterback out on the flat, and to make plays.
An excellent field position for the Panthers right after. At their 38-yard line of Monroe. Janae drops back, sends a spiral up the middle, and it's Kyle Yeoman once more. An encore to his touchdown reception, a one-handed grab, and they're inside the red zone.
Yeah, 38-yard line down to about the 17-yard line, it looks like. So another great pitch and catch.
And Yeoman, the favorite target right now, the tight end and linebacker, a senior, 6'3", 210 pounds. And Monroe will call a timeout, trying to stop this momentum by the Panthers. And it will be the first timeout here used in this game for the Bearcats. 9-7, Bearcats clinging on to the 2-point lead with 3:14 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, great job throwing the ball right down the seam to the tight end, making it go up and making a huge play. Showed some soft hands right there. Now they're knocking on the door. 3:14 left in this half. They actually could go up, and they should be able to go up with the lead, at least at the minimum.
Monroe was up 9-0. They scored on their opening drive of the game. The quarterback, Mitchell Price, capping off the drive with a 1-yard touchdown run. And then a safety by Snohomish, a high snap. They were pinned back deep in their own territory, and the Bearcats were up 9-0. But 3 turnovers in a span of a little over a minute as Garrett Stitch had an interception, taking it away from Monroe. And then Snohomish able to get a fumble on a punt return. That set up the Kyle Yeoman 26-yard touchdown catch. And just moments ago on the kickoff after that touchdown, Snohomish kicking it off one of the Bearcats, returning it. And here they are, 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. Herzog in the backfield, taking over for St. Marie. The pile moves forward. The ball comes loose, and an immediate indication. Monroe gets it back. We've seen our fair share of turnovers here in the second quarter.
Wow, we saw a real clean first quarter, actually quarter and a half. And then all of a sudden, neither team can hang on to the ball. We've seen some penalties, so these are things that need to be cleaned up at halftime, but huge momentum swing back toward Monroe. Now Monroe says, okay, here we go. Let's run this thing. Let's just run it down their throats. Let's do what we need to do and get this going so that we can go in with this lead. We've been given a gift. Now let's take advantage of it.
I think that's the right way to put it. They've been given a gift, but they've done their fair share of gift giving as well, and nothing on that first play. Action right up at the line of scrimmage, and Monroe nowhere to go.
Yeah, Gabe Moore's at almost 20 carries now on the night. And the Monroe offensive line isn't getting a lot of push on that Snohomish line, so they might need to start running some misdirection instead of running just straight power at these guys.
Both teams with 2 timeouts. The clock rolling along, time dripping away off it. 2:50 left to go in the first half. 9-7, Bearcats with the ball, up by 2. A 1-yard loss on that last play at their own 11-yard line, needing 11 yards to move the chains. They hand it off again once more. Contact in the backfield. Gabe Moore works hard to get back to the original line of scrimmage, a 1-yard run.
Yeah, and now Snohomish calls a timeout, trying to save some time, give themselves a chance to get the ball back with a chance to get this lead and take advantage of this great field position that they could end up having.
Our first turnover of the second quarter happened with 4 minutes and 32 seconds left to go in the quarter. That was 2 minutes ago. In game time, we've had 4 turnovers in that 2-minute stretch.
Yeah, an interception, as you noted. There was a fumble. There was I'm sorry, not a fumble. There was an interception. There was a kickoff. There was what was the other one?
So we've got that first interception. Garrett Stitch with the interception. Mm-hmm. The fumble on the punt return as John Sharp recovered that for Snohomish. A fumble recovery on the kickoff. And then Riley Herzog committing the first turnover for Snohomish as he fumbled the ball and the Bearcats were able to recover.
Yeah, and the Bearcats really need to get out and get the ball in their playmakers' hands. Snohomish still has, it looks like, 2 timeouts up on the board. I thought they only had 1 left, but I could be wrong on that.
I believe you're right. I don't think they took one away after the last one they just called. Pass incomplete on 3rd and 10. A bit of a risk. Price put it out for Hunter Bingham. He couldn't reel it in, though he had a defender right there, even if he did catch it. But that stops the clock. Monroe will have to punt it off with 2:29 remaining in the half.
And that's the risk of throwing the ball on 3rd and long when you're trying to end the quarter, or at least run some clock, is the fact that they threw an incompletion. So now the clock is stopped. Snohomish gets a chance to get the ball back. Russell Crippen and I think Stitch are going to head back.
Looks like Boomer Vorey.
Boomer Vorey, yeah. And they're going to head back and possibly give Snohomish some good field position here.
Gabe Moore, the punter. From the end zone, he has enough room, and boy, flexes his leg. They're going to let this one go back, and that worked out about as well as you could imagine for Monroe. The Bearcats go back and touch it at the 37-yard line, but barring a fumble and a return for Monroe, I think that's the best-case scenario.
Oh, totally, and that's a huge shift in field position right there, because a lot of us thought they'd have it inside the 50, and now that he just booms a punt about a 45-yarder. On that play.
And most definitely took Snohomish back, because we saw Vorey along with Crippen waiting between the 40 and the 45-yard line, and that one first touchdown a good 10 yards behind them. So Snohomish, 2:19 remaining in the half. 1st and 10, they'll start at their own 37-yard line. Down by 2, 9-7. Stepping up and now being forced to scramble out, Janae takes it for himself and gets knocked out of bounds, but gets a nice pickup in the effort.
Yeah, nice 7-yard gain on that right there. And Gabe Moore comes over and makes a stop. He's all over the place tonight.
And I think maybe the most impressive thing he's done all night, and that's not to take away anything
punt.
he's done as a running back or on defense, is that punt. Exactly right.
Well, he also had to make up for his bit of a gaffe earlier where he fumbled the punt return.
As you said, a 7-yard pickup by Janae, the senior quarterback on the last play. Your 2nd and 3, I formation for the Panthers. 2:11 to go. He got out of bounds. They go up the middle. Stitch with it and plenty of room. He barrels forward into Monroe territory and is marked down at the 40-yard line. He gets a 16-yard pickup on the run by the fullback.
Yeah, great run right up there. Just quick hitter. Something where you want to see if you can get that linebacker and that defensive end to go out, and that's exactly what they got to happen, and he was able to make a play out of it, and still 2 minutes left. They got plenty of time to run this in if they can.
A fresh set of downs, 1st and 10, right at the 40-yard line. Janae under pressure, scrambling over to his right. Will he keep it himself? No, he won't. A good idea, just the execution not quite there. Leaves the pass short for Tanner Perry.
Yeah, had a guy wide open right there, just wasn't able to make the play, and that's something that he's getting. When he's in the film room on Saturday or Sunday, whenever they do their film here, he's going to look at that and say that's a guy that I need to hit, because if he hits him in stride, he's possibly down inside the 10 with 1 minute and 45 seconds left.
Clock stop after the incompletion, 1:47 to go. And we do have a penalty flag down, so unsportsmanlike conduct on Monroe, and that is the last thing they needed at this point.
And that's something that just makes you shake your head, and that's why a lot of coaches are bald, is because they just pull their hair out over stuff like that. We get a stop, we make a good play, we got these guys on their heels a little bit, and then we do an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty when you don't need to. I mean, I'm not saying you ever need to do that, but in situations like that, you just can't do that.
Very, very costly. They were at the 40, now at the 25 after the 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And it will set up 1st and 10 for the Panthers. They trail by 2. They've trailed this entire game. Monroe was up 9-0. Snohomish, the Kyle Yeoman 26-yard touchdown catch. And they're trying to add on some more points here before the end of the half. Stitch, the lone man in the backfield. Janae is sandwiched between 2 Monroe defenders. Not much there. At least coming in from one side was Alex Vidacan and putting a good lick on the quarterback.
Yeah, and Moore was the other guy who came up, shucked off Schick's block, and then was able to make the play as well.
2nd and 13, quick strike. Reception made by Perry, and he's forced out of bounds at the 22-yard line. He'll get 7 on the catch.
I don't know how good Snohomish's kicker is, but you need to get at least 5 or 6 more yards to give yourself a realistic chance at a field goal here.
Colin Shelton has hit a 37-yarder this year. He had that against Redmond. So for a high school kicker, he has a very good leg. Had a 25-yarder last week against Arlington, but most definitely you need to get some more room if you want to give him a decent chance.
Yeah, and one thing you got to feel sorry for is on the far end of the stadium right now is actually directly across from where the ball is on the other side is the homecoming court, and all those poor girls in their beautiful dresses have taken off their jackets, so I'm sure they're not super warm.
3rd and 7. Janae connects with Yeoman on the reception, gets inside the 5-yard line. The big tight end, another huge strikes, a 1st down for Snohomish, and they are knocking on the door. 1st and goal.
Yeah, right now he's having the biggest night on the offensive side of the ball. Just great job of dragging across, making a play, and then making a man miss. It isn't like Monroe didn't have somebody there to make the play. He just didn't make it.
St. Marie in the backfield, I formation, 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. They hand it off to Stitch, bounces out to the right side. Touchdown Panthers as he so gently hands it to the official. And the Snohomish Panthers here on homecoming night with their first lead of the game. They're on top 13-9, 1:01 remaining in the first half.
And how encouraging is that for Snohomish right now? Able to go up when really Monroe dominated the first quarter and a half of this game. Snohomish has just hung tight, made plays, and they're scrappy. And you got to love the way that Yeoman and the quarterback, Janae, are connecting tonight. That's something that when they go in at halftime, Monroe is definitely going to have to look at how are we going to cover this guy, because he's killing us right now.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster in this second quarter as far as the momentum goes and as far as mistakes go as well. And after the safety, a 2-point conversion attempt here for Snohomish. Janae rolls out to his right, has an open target, connects with Tanner Perry, and the 2-point conversion is good. Now up 15-9. The Panthers, they're on a roll here.
Definitely, and that's something you need to keep an eye on if you're Monroe, giving them easy points right there. Now they're up 6 points on you. Granted, if you're going to have to score a touchdown one way or the other, but you just don't want to give free points when you don't have to.
Well, Panthers up 15-9, and I don't think you can overstate it. We have seen 4 turnovers in the second half of this second quarter, not just the second quarter as a whole. And so when you break down those turnovers, it's not in favor of Monroe. There's 1 for Snohomish, but 3 for the Bearcats.
And if you're the Snohomish coaches, now you're telling your guys, hey, we don't want to give these guys a big return. Let's see if we can get this in the end zone. But if we don't, we need to make sure we make the tackle, stay in our lane, stay disciplined, so that we don't give them good field position or even give them a touchdown on a return, so that you can go in with this lead and have the momentum completely on your side. Plus, they have the ball first in the second half, and that's huge. That's huge because you could now add to your lead.
Snohomish won the toss. They deferred, and Monroe received to start the game. Monroe with 2 timeouts to go in this half. 1:01 to work with. Now trailing 15-9, 15 unanswered. 2 straight touchdowns. And Kyle Yeoman, though he didn't get the touchdown that time, got the first touchdown. It was that reception by the tight end that really set things up.
Yeoman is doing yeoman's duty out there.
It was only a matter of time, and it's a fitting name for him as well. Colin Shelton will boot it off. Another low squib kick that turned into a turnover the last time he tried it. Picking it up and bringing it out is Mixophone. Mixophone off to the right side, spun down and brought down to the turf by the Panthers. And it looked like that was Jacob Profit who came in and made the stop for the Panthers. 1st and 10 from the 25, 55 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, really good job of just staying disciplined, staying in your lane, making sure that he didn't get outside of you. You always want to force the runs back inside, and we're able to get him down and give him a long field to go.
Mitchell Price hands it off to Gabe Moore, a full head of steam. And he makes it out just past the 20-yard line, or excuse me, the 30-yard line. He'll be marked to the 31, so a 6-yard pickup. But as of right now, the clock is stopped, and I'm not quite sure why.
Oh, they're winding it now. I think they thought somebody called timeout, but it doesn't look like anybody did, and we got the clock running. This will probably end up being the last play of the first half.
So Monroe appears to be in no rush as they have 69 yards to go to try to get it in. They hand it off to Gabe Moore, and he is tackled by Tanner Perry out to the 39-yard line. They'll be 2 yards short of the first down, and as you mentioned, they could attempt to run one more play here, 15 seconds and counting if they'd like, or they could just go into the locker room and try to regroup after giving up 15 unanswered points.
Yeah, 16 carries for Moore right now, and that looks like it's the end of the half.
And that will do it. The Panthers on homecoming. Smiles from ear to ear, up 15-9 on the Bearcats, scoring 15 unanswered. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime recap. You're watching the Snohomish Panthers and the Monroe Bearcats on PlayOnSports.com. Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium here at halftime, along with Scott Eklund. Chris King along with you tonight. 15-9 our halftime score. And here in Snohomish, it is homecoming for the Snohomish Panthers. As you see out there on the field, the homecoming court being, I guess, what would you call it? Being named, awarded, whatever they are. It's being done out there on the field tonight. Let's go with presented. I think that's our winner as far as what they're doing. So it'll be an extended halftime, and with that, we'll take a break. And right before the start of the second half, we'll come back and give you a full recap on how the first half came to be. 15-9 our score. The Panthers lead at halftime. You're watching the Snohomish Panthers and the Monroe Bearcats here on PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot this.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium. Here at halftime, our score, Snohomish on homecoming night, the 15-9 lead on the Monroe Bearcats. Along with Scott Eklund, I'm Chris King, taking a look back at how the scoring went down in that first half. Things were going Monroe's way early. Monroe actually had a 9-0 lead on the opening drive of the game. Mitchell Price, the quarterback for the Bearcats, punched in a 1-yard touchdown run to make it 7-0. And then Snohomish, deep in their own territory on fourth down, went to punt it, but the punt was high, went off the crossbar, and it was a safety. So the Bearcats on the road, a 9-0 lead. But from that point on, the momentum clearly shifted in the favor of the home team, the Snohomish Panthers. And it was due to, in large part, the turnovers committed by Monroe. There was a Garrett Stitch interception. That didn't lead to a touchdown, but a punt return fumble right after that John Sharp recovered went off the hands of Gabe Moore for Monroe, set up the first touchdown of the game for the Panthers. Kyle Yeoman, a 26-yard reception, made it 9-7, and then there was a fumble recovery by Snohomish. And then it set up a Riley Herzog. Well, there was a fumble by Snohomish. Not to look over that as the fourth turnover as Riley Herzog had the one for the Panthers. Gave Monroe the ball back, but Garrett Stitch got it. A 2-yard touchdown run made it 15-9. And that is our score here at halftime, Scott.
Yeah, and you know, we just want to run down some stats for you. Monroe is only 1 for 3 passing for 15 yards. Their big workhorse on the night has been Gabe Moore. He's rushed 16 times for 65 yards, but he doesn't have a touchdown. Right now, the only touchdown for them is Price, who ran it in from 1 yard out on a quarterback sneak. On the Snohomish side of the ball, they didn't do a lot offensively. We kind of talked about that throughout the first half. But when they got the ball in their hands, and right now I think Garrett Stitch has to be the top candidate for our player of the game. I know we're going to think about that a little bit later as the game goes along, but he had the interception that you talked about. He also had the touchdown run at the very end to give them the lead, send them into halftime up 15-9. Kyle Yeoman, though, sets up, or actually gets the 26-yard touchdown, but also sets up Stitch's run at the end of the half by catching a 21-yarder that he takes down to the 3-yard line. So a lot of productivity out of Snohomish on the offensive side of the ball. Monroe, on the other hand, a team that I thought would come in here and just kind of grind it out and things like that, really hasn't been able to get much going offensively. And so this half and the adjustments that they make are really going to tell the tale on this game.
I think you bring up a very good point about both of the player of the game candidates, although it's awfully early, as it was pointed out. There's a long way to go and a lot of football still to be played. I think for Kyle Yeoman, you bring up a great case, and that's not to overlook, too, a couple big tackles he's had as well, as we've called his name out defensively.
Yeah, he really plays strong from his linebacker position. Even lines up down in a three-point stance as well a little bit, too. So is all over the place. I like what Stitch has brought to the game. He's a tough, hard-nosed runner. When they've given him opportunities to run the ball, he's made some plays. Yeoman, on the other hand, he's a guy who isn't flashy. He's not the flashiest guy in the world. He goes about 6'5" or 6'3" and 210 pounds. So he isn't very big. He plays a position. He's got the ability to play at the next level, but it'll probably be at a lower level school. But you got to love what he brings to the table, both offensively and defensively.
15-9 our halftime score. A bit of a longer halftime, but a great homecoming ceremony that they had here during the halftime break. We saw all the members of the candidates of the court come out. They had their parents with them. I think even more impressive, Scott, was the fireworks that we saw at halftime.
I know. Yeah, it was beautiful. And for those that are going to get a look at the field here in a moment, that smoke is not fog. That is smoke from the fireworks. There was a huge firework display. They also had a sign right underneath the scoreboard that lit up and sparkled and everything like that. So pretty cool. I haven't seen a homecoming that elaborate yet. I've been covering games for almost a decade, and I hadn't seen a homecoming that elaborate.
And here we are at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Snohomish, and definitely Snohomish, a place known for its great football tradition, and now not just Snohomish High School in town, but in their 5th year at Glacier Peak, the new school, or still new school by the standards of having a new kid in town, and Glacier Peak is having a very good year, and they've built up a very good football program.
Yeah, and Glacier Peak has kind of built up their program at the expense of Snohomish, who always seem to produce a lot of football players out of this area that went to Western, that went to PLU, that went to Central. I actually played with one at Central Washington. Then Snohomish also provided a lot of walk-ons at the University of Washington. They provided some walk-ons and some scholarship guys at Washington and at Washington State. So they're a program with a rich tradition, and I think they're trying to build back to that. With Glacier Peak coming in, they've been able to kind of really work their program. They've got a brand new school. A lot of kids want to go there, but then Snohomish steps up and actually improves their school, has a big renovation on the school, and it really has done a great job with the athletic facilities out here. We see a huge practice field that was over there that I didn't see last year when I came up to a game. The parking lot behind us that wasn't there last year when I came. They've got a great baseball program. But the other thing is, too, just the improvement in the academic side. And that's a really big thing to attract kids and want to bring them into your school. Because like we found out, it is open enrollment up in this area. So that's something that Snohomish is fighting against. As far as Monroe, they're an area that is really growing quite a bit. And a lot of people moving out there because of 522. They're able to get into Bothell. They're able to get into Kirkland and Bellevue and possibly even to Seattle to do work. So a lot of people are moving out there, and they got a lot of things going on out there, and they're building up their program. They might actually eventually, because they're a big 4A school out there, they might actually eventually have to split off and have a school out there as well competing with them.
Last year, Monroe, they're actually coming off their best season in 19 years. They went 6-4 overall, 3-2 in the WESCO North, and they lost to Skyline in the first round of the state playoffs, and that's a pretty darn tough opponent to play. I don't think it gets any tougher than that.
And first time like you said, they had made the playoffs in quite a few years, and then to play the eventual state champion with now the number one quarterback in the country, Max Brown, guiding the team out there. So, great job last year. You need to continue to build off that, though. You don't want to go one and done and then have another 4 or 5 years before you hit the playoff march again. You want to get in the playoffs consistently, because that, granted, in high school, you're not really recruiting and trying to bring in the top players to your program. Well, maybe some schools do, but that you're technically not supposed to be able to do that. But what you want to do is you want to get it rolling, because then you have kids who maybe didn't want to try out for your team before, because why would I want to play for a loser? Now they're playing for a team that's a winner, and maybe you're getting kids in your program that you weren't getting before.
And Monroe here trying to right the ship after a good first quarter, a good start to the second quarter, but Snohomish scoring 2 unanswered touchdowns, and they have the 15-9 lead. The Panthers will start with the ball. The kickoff by Tanner Lippincott is a low kickoff, actually squibs out just to the 41-yard line, so Snohomish will get very good field position. As you mentioned, Scott, and worth mentioning again, is that's not fog, that is smoke from the fireworks we had at halftime.
Yeah, it's starting to dissipate a little bit, but pretty kind of making its way in here into the stadium instead of going the other way. When I actually came in, as you come down Highway 9 into the valley, saw a nice little haze of fog and mist and things like that. So really was kind of Halloween-y, fall feel when you drive out here.
It's crazy to think that we're so deep into the football season at this point, too. It feels like it just started. The handoff goes to St. Marie. Almost had the ball stripped out of his hands, trying to head off to the off-tackle right side, and not much there. That defensive line for Monroe has been impressive. There were those 2 touchdowns, but Snohomish as a whole hasn't got a whole lot going on the ground.
Yeah, and one guy that we've talked about a little bit is Dylan Judson. Has really been a fire plug in there for them, and just made the play right there as well.
And looking at that defensive line for Monroe, you got Jacob Kogar along with Alex Vidican, Tanner Lippincott, who we saw kick off, and also Mitchell Johnson as well. 3 down linemen here for the Bearcats. 2nd and 8. And all indications are this one will be going back 5 yards against the Panthers.
Yeah, movement on the left guard right there. Unable to hold his wad, or Josh Sharp right there. So now you're looking at 2nd and about 13, and this is where the big receiver for them has really been Yeoman, although Crippen has the same amount of catches. But I'm really surprised, honestly, that they haven't gotten the ball in Crippen's hands a little bit more, maybe giving him a few more looks. But my guess is Monroe is probably doing a little bit to maybe putting a safety over the top so he isn't able to get free.
It's interesting that you bring up Crippen and his 2 receptions, which came on back-to-back plays. They go through the air again. Tanner Perry, who's become more involved in the passing game for Snohomish in the second quarter, the intended target, but right by him was Gabe Moore, along with Trevor Larson on the coverage.
Yeah, and on that play, what they do is they have Crippen run just a quick hitch route, and then they try and run the other receiver in behind that, and he did actually have a bit of a crease, but Genet wasn't able to hit it.
3rd and 13, opening drive of the second half. Snohomish up 15-9, a little over a minute into the third quarter. Kyle Genet, the 6', 170-pound senior quarterback, drops back, then steps up, trying to take it for himself, and he gets crunched in the process. He goes down. And he goes down hard, was hit low, then coming up high for Monroe was Dylan Judson, the linebacker.
Yeah, we've mentioned his name a couple times. From a defensive standpoint, I think he's had the best night of either of the teams, and really is a physical player. 6'2", 225 pounds, 6'4", 225 pounds. So really strong at the point of attack and showed great instincts constantly.
Gabe Moore will await this punt. Colin Shelton on to boot it off. We've already seen one high snap on a punt tonight, which ended up leading to a safety. 4th and 12 from the 38-yard line. Quick movement right away. Monroe getting good pressure on Shelton, but he gets off the kick. Moore will let it bounce, and it takes a friendly hop for the Bearcats. It'll bounce right near the 28-yard line. That's where Snohomish will down it, and the Bearcats will take over for their first drive of the second half.
Got to give him a credit on that, because he was getting heavy pressure from Brandon Hirano as well as another player from Monroe. I don't know how he got it off. I thought it was going to be blocked, but was able to get it off and get a decent punt off as well.
So Monroe looking to get things back on track. It was an impressive first quarter and start to the second quarter, and 3 turnovers really hurt them. Hunter Bingham in a quarterback. We see the handoff here. Go to Max Blaze, and Blaze, staying true to his name, picks up a head of steam and gets into Snohomish territory. He started at his own 28-yard line, and this will be marked down at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, a huge run there for Blaze. Gets out and showed good speed on that one, about a 30-yard run.
Yeah, 34 on the carry. So Blaze coming through. We talked about how many carries Gabe Moore had in the first half. Nice to see someone else and a fresh set of legs for the Bearcats.
Yeah, he's tired. I think they've got him on the sidelines. I'm just kidding. They don't have him on the sidelines. But Bingham being in there is a little bit of a surprise to me.
Bingham also in a quarterback as well. Shares some time with Mitchell Price. He takes it for himself on the keeper. Gets near the 35-yard line. 3 yards on the carry.
Price is a little bit more athletic, but it looks like Bingham might be the guy they trust a little bit more to run the ball.
Bingham back in week 3 in the 29-26, a heartbreaking loss to Mariner. He had a touchdown pass and a touchdown run in the game, so a multi-talented quarterback, a different look for Monroe here. They go up the middle on 2nd and 7.
We're looking at old school football right here, where you're just running fullback dives and dive plays and power plays and things like that. Football that I enjoy, what I grew up with. So kind of fun to watch these two teams kind of punch away at each other, seeing if they can break something out of it.
Max Blaze, the ball carrier, 3 yards on the run, sets up 3rd and 4 here for the Bearcats. Under 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Along with Scott Eklund, Chris King here with you. Homecoming night in this WESCO 4A North matchup between Snohomish and Monroe. From the 32-yard line, Bingham's pass in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. Well, that's what he wanted, and Bingham did his job, but Robbie Shab unable to reel it in.
Yeah, that would have been a tough catch, but it hit him on the hands. You need to make that catch, and that would have it might not have been a first down, but it would have been right close to the marker and giving you a short 3rd down play. Now you're looking at, short 4th down play. So now you're looking at, you're kind of in the no man's land as far as, because if you punt, and you get it in the end zone, you're only going to gain 12 yards. So looks like they're going to go for it and see what they can get out of it.
Bingham out of the shotgun, as you mentioned, a very good running threat, and that's always a possibility, especially here on 4th and 4. Bingham instead will fling it over. The pass is caught, and this is going to be awfully close. The reception by the tight end, Dylan Judson, and I'm not sure if this could get any closer. It all depends on where they spot it. And so they give him a pretty favorable spot. The Bearcats won't argue, and it's a first down.
Yeah, great throw out there by Bingham, hitting Judson, who had come wide open. On that kind of play, you send him in motion, and now you've got him on the advantage because that was man-to-man coverage, and he was able to break away from his man and get the first down.
1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Trying to answer back after going ahead 9-0, then giving up 15 unanswered. Gabe Moore gets by one defender, but back to the line of scrimmage he goes, making first contact in on the play was Ty Carlson.
And that's kind of a theme of the way Snohomish has played defense today, especially they've really been keying on Moore quite a bit. Moore is kind of the workhorse for the Bearcats, and so they've keyed on him, and men are just constantly flying to the ball. As soon as he gets by one guy, 2 more guys are there to clean it up. So it hasn't been able to get loose at all.
No gain on the play. 4 minutes into the third quarter. 2nd and 10. The handoff goes to Moore, and a good open field tackle brings him down. Tanner Perry on the stop.
And on that play, you want to see him just make a decision and go. He could have just planted that and probably gotten at least 3 or 4 yards out of it, but instead he tries to make a move and ends up not getting any yardage out of it.
Looks like they'll give him just 1 yard, but that's not much between those 2 plays for the Bearcats. 3rd and 9 coming up here as they have it on the 26-yard line. Bingham in a quarterback for the first time in this game. Mitchell Price was...
I'm a little surprised they didn't have a substitution penalty on that one because they had a player run off when they lined up. That was lucky they didn't get a penalty on that.
So we have a timeout for Monroe. Mitchell Price, the quarterback in the first half. Hunter Bingham here to start off the second half. A reminder, Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube and at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
When I was in high school, which was a long time ago, I graduated in 1989, but, when I was in high school, we never had games on TV. You never saw stuff like this. These kids are so lucky to have this exposure now, but also the fans of these teams who might not be able to get out and go to games, some of the older generation who might not be able to travel and do some of the things, they can actually watch kids on the internet or on TV, and that's something you really have to love.
Great thing, these games go on in our archives. You can go on later and watch them as well. Watch the replay. 3rd and 9 after the timeout. Bingham under pressure, puts it straight up the middle for Moore. Does he make the catch? Yes, he does. What a reception. A 26-yard touchdown, and Gabe Moore brings it in the end zone. And just like that, we are tied up with 7:07 to go in the third quarter.
Great catch by Moore on that. Got behind the defense. They sucked him up with play action, and Bingham just put it right where he had to in the back of the end zone.
A heck of an opening drive for Hunter Bingham as the quarterback for Monroe. The 2-point conversion was attempted by Snohomish on their last touchdown. It was good. So we have a tie game here, and the point after would give the Bearcats back the lead. On to kick.
Another
Tanner
substitution
Olsen.
Penalty. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. No, the flag goes down, and that goes to the point that you were making earlier when you thought they should have had one before when they got the timeout. And this is only a freshman kicker that they have, and that's not to take anything away from the leg of Tanner Olsen, but anytime for your kicker, you want him as close as possible, especially when it's a youngster.
Yeah, and especially when this can break a tie as well. I mean, you're looking at 15 all right now, and is there a possibility that he could shank something like this because he's not used to kicking extra points this far?
But to the credit of the freshman, he did have a 37-yard field goal 2 weeks ago in the win over Lake Stevens, and that was a 2-point victory, 9-7. So Olsen though a freshman, is battle-tested so far. They're trying to answer back and go 2-0 in conference, winning their first conference game against Lake Stevens. Here's the snap. The hold is down. The kick is up. It has the leg. Does it get through? Yes, it does. No problem for Tanner Olson. And the Monroe Bearcats are back on top just by a point, 16-15. A bit of an unconventional score that you don't see too often.
Yeah, great job by the holder on that. It was a high snap, got it down, was able to get it down for the kick. But back to the touchdown, what you have to love about, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the game, was that Monroe will just punch at you, and finally get you thinking they're going to run they're going to run on 85, 90% of their plays, and then all of a sudden they drop back, they run a play action, they drop back, they get their best player deep, and he's able to throw it and get a touchdown.
And both sides of that play, I think you have to give all the credit in the world to. That was a nice throw by Hunter Bingham, especially considering he was out there as a wide receiver to start the game in the first half. That's his first drive at quarterback. And Gabe Moore made a tough pass look easy with that reception.
Yeah, it got right behind the safety. I believe it was Russell Crippen that he ended up beating, getting deep behind. And, made a play that I think wide receivers in college would be pretty hard-pressed to make. And he just made it nice, soft hands and looked beautiful. Actually, I think that was kind of the same play. You being a Washington State graduate, the Snow Bowl.
I don't know. Yes.
Was it Philip Bobo?
Yeah, Philip Bobo from Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, makes it just right down the middle of the field.
Too bad he didn't have a big pile of snow to go through there for Gabe Moore. It's too nice out here is the problem as the Panthers return it and get it out to the 32-yard line.
As much as I enjoy the snow, I'm glad it isn't that snowy yet. It's nice.
Riley Herzog on the return, and hopefully we won't have to worry about that for a while. Hopefully if there's any sort of snow, everyone's nice and tucked in at the Tacoma Dome at that point, at least at this level. 6:58 left to go in the third quarter. 16-15, Bearcats up by a point. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Snohomish looking for their second win of the season. The pitch and a full head of steam for the Panthers. Gets it out to the 40-yard line. In the backfield for Snohomish is Boomer Vorey getting the carry, only a sophomore.
And he kind of delivered the hit in that instead of taking it on that one. Just lowered his shoulder, got ahead of steam, got up for an 8-yard gain. Now they have a little bit of flexibility on what they can do here at only 2nd and 2.
Bring up a good point there. Boomer Vorey, not a starter on offense, but he's a starting cornerback for the Panthers, so more used to delivering those hits. Peter St. Marie trying to get the first down after Vorey picked up 8 yards. He comes close, only needed 2 to get to the 42. I haven't seen the indication yet. He's right there at the first down marker.
You're going to have to measure this one. And this is something that you see where they have to measure it. And what it is for people who might not understand how you mark the first down markers and things like that, what they do is they have a little attachment on the chains, the 10-yard chain, and it goes to the nearest 5-yard line. So it's 40, 45, 50, 30, 35, things like that. So they go there, and that's how they decide when they pull it, and you see them pulling it tight, that's what they pull it tight off of.
And after pulling it tight, enough on it for the first down, as they didn't need to come out and measure it. So a fresh set of downs here for the Panthers. Another great night here. We've been spoiled by outstanding weather. When you think of fall, that's what today was like, your stereotypical fall day, and that is about as high of a compliment as you can get on how great the day was. Here's a pitch to St. Marie, looking for some room on the outside, cuts in, a stiff arm, has the first down before being forced out of bounds. That's the longest run tonight for Peter St. Marie in his first game back here in the 2012 campaign.
Yeah, 18-yard run right there. Great way of getting outside and making a play and showing that good vision and speed that he has to get outside.
Again, St. Marie rushed for over 1,100 yards last year. And right as we say, hey, picked up all those yards, the longest of the night. Looks like it won't stand. There's a holding penalty. We'll bring this back.
And there's a reason why he got that 18 yards, because it was a holding penalty. But still, you have to like the way Snohomish isn't changing their game plan. They're just going about their business, doing what they need to do. They're only down 1 point. They've got plenty of time, just a little under 6 minutes left in the third quarter. They've got plenty of time. Just don't get greedy. Take what this defense is giving you. And on that play, had it not been a hold, that was a perfectly set up play. He didn't have anybody even to contact him until 10 yards down the field.
The holding penalty will push it back to the 35-yard line. So we'll still be first down. Interesting is we still have a half left of the third quarter and all the fourth quarter to go. But this is a close game, and looking through how both these teams have played this year, Snohomish hasn't been in a ton of close games. They defeated Redmond for their one and only win of the year, 24-7. But Monroe, on the other hand, they were in a battle with Lake Stevens 2 weeks ago and won that game 9-7. Maybe being in some more close games will help out. Only time will tell. Handoff gets a big chunk of the yards back that they lost on the holding penalty out to the 48-yard line.
And I believe that was the person who actually had the hold on that play. He was the lead blocker on that play that got called for the hold. I think that was Stitch.
Looked like Garrett Stitch, you're right, the fullback, who has a touchdown in this game and also an interception as well. So Stitch getting it done on both sides. Stitch along with St. Marie in the backfield. 2nd and 4. Need to get into Monroe territory at the 48. They pitch it to St. Marie. Will go to the outside, turn it to the corner, lowers his shoulder. Contacts made, making a stop Peter Campman, but too late to get them shy of the first down marker. They have enough out to the 46, a 6-yard run.
Yeah, St. Marie really is a bruising runner. He likes to lower his shoulder and get those extra yards. Got it on that one. Didn't even need to. He looks like a guy who likes a lot of contact, and that's something that you like, especially as a team that runs a lot of power formations. You don't, because they're not a wide open attack. They want a guy who's going to abuse that defense.
Well, he missed time up until this point of the season with a broken tibia bone in his leg, which he suffered over the summer. So he's paid the price for some contact before. They give it to St. Marie once more, and the pile pushes straight forward, a 7-yard run on the play.
And that was Judson making another tackle. He's been in seemingly on most of the tackles. I think he's got about 8 or 9 tonight. Really good-looking player.
4 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 16-15, the Bearcats with the lead. Snohomish unable to get points on their first drive. The Bearcats cashing in with the touchdown on theirs. And now the Panthers trying to answer back. They go straight up the gut to St. Marie on 2nd and 3rd. He does his job. 4 yards on the carry and a first down out to the 35.
Yeah, good hard-nosed run right there in the middle. Doesn't do anything flashy or anything, but is able to get the first down.
Dick Armstrong, the legendary coach here in Snohomish. Mark Perry, the coach now for the Panthers. The vast majority of the coaches have either played for Dick Armstrong or played for Mark Perry. A program, as we talked about before, a very strong tradition. As you talked about, a good, strong power ground game, too, that we're seeing in full force here. 1st and 10 from the 35. Haven't seen too many passing attempts by the quarterback, Janae, in the second half. And another handoff, another hard-working run to the 31-yard line, a 4-yard pickup.
Stitch had a bunch of guys on him, and he just wouldn't go down, and actually almost had it stripped at the very end there, but didn't, and now he gives him a 2nd and 6.
And time is quickly going off the clock here. This is a very time-consuming drive for the Panthers. 3:20 left to go in the third quarter. Definitely dictating the tempo of this game here in the third. The pitch goes out, and it is dropped by Vorey, and the best he can do is fall on the ball. And he will lose quite a few yards. He gets marked back at the 43-yard line. We have a Monroe player down. And good to see him coming up. That is Tanner Lippincott, who got up slowly. That will be a 13-yard loss on the play.
And as we saw in the first half, other than a couple plays to Yeoman, they aren't really designed, this offense really isn't designed to get you 23 yards, so or 18 yards on a pop. So not an easy decision here for what the coach needs to do. He might just decide to run this and give his team some field position. But no,
Play action, Janae thought about keeping for himself, throws with his feet planted, puts it up in the air, and the pass is caught. Coming in for Snohomish, another catch for Kyle Yeoman, his third of the game, and all of them have been tough, and all of them have been clutch receptions.
Yeah, and it isn't like Monroe didn't have anybody there. They just don't have anybody big enough to guard that guy. He goes up and he makes the play, and honestly, for a guy his size to make those kind of plays, that's pretty impressive.
They convert on 3rd and 18, 1st and 10 from the 21. Yeoman, 3 receptions, one set up a touchdown. His last one before that, the other one was for a touchdown, and they're a crucial 3rd down conversion. 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Trying to take the lead back, down by 1. They go up the middle. And it's Stitch again, gets it to the 19-yard line, works hard, but only a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, Stitch it seems like their inside guy, and then they let St. Marie kind of decide where he wants to go.
This Monroe defense is got to start to get tired on this drive. Snohomish has put together a long and a grinding drive here.
Yeah, I think this is the 8th play of the drive for them. They haven't gotten a lot of first down, huge long carries, so something where they've gone to 3 downs each time.
St. Marie in the backfield. Janae fakes the pass. He's looking for the end zone. Overthrows his intended target. He was trying to connect with Gavin Jones.
Gavin Jones had the corner, and he was headed that way. When Janae throws that pass, you need to throw it to that back pylon of the end zone, and he didn't do that. He threw it more inside, and that's why the ball was incomplete. That should have been a touchdown pass. And the coaches next door to us kind of moaned and groaned, and now we're starting to see the fan bases go at each other a little bit here.
And you got to like it for Monroe. They're making a lot of noise. The Bearcats coming in. It's homecoming night for Snohomish, and a great turnout from Monroe.
Both student sections are pretty loaded tonight. It's kind of fun to watch.
3rd and 8 as the play is called dead, and this is bad news for the Panthers. It will now be 3rd and 13.
We're down to a minute. I think this quarter has been almost, I think we're looking at a 20-minute quarter here.
A lightning quick
in real
pace.
time.
A lightning quick pace, and after Monroe started to make some noise, the Snohomish fans started chanting and answering back with our house. And we've got a good matchup here. Talking about the reclassification and Monroe coming into the WESCO. Well, these two squads have been in the WESCO for a long time and have had a lot of matchups with each other. A lot of history between these two.
And a lot of these kids probably know each other pretty well, too.
3rd and 13. Janae with the fake. He finds Crippen, who's trying to do something. Comes over to the near sideline. Brings a defender with him. But not enough for the first down. Not even close. As he did a lot of work, but only got 3 yards on the reception.
Yeah, I thought he actually, if he had stayed out where all the blocking was, he might have actually been able to get a first down, but decided to bring it all the way across the formation. And now we set up for a pretty long field goal here. Looks like it's going to be about a 38-yarder, 39-yarder.
This will be interesting. We've seen Colin Shelton hit a 37-yarder this year. It's Snohomish's lone victory of the season. He nailed one in the 24-17 win over Redmond. A field goal would give them the lead. 1 minute and 1 second left to go in the 3rd quarter. 15-6 as Janae exchange a high five with Shelton. And this will be a 38-yarder, like you said, Scott, from the near hash. Here's the snap. The hold is down. The kick is up. It has enough leg and plenty of distance. It is good. Shelton flexing that leg. The senior punches it through and gives the Panthers the lead back. It's now 18-16. Snohomish leads.
It wasn't high, but it definitely drove it. That could have been good from about 45 yards, it looked like. He hit that pretty well, giving them the lead. We've seen some lead changes here in the second half, and this has been a pretty fun game so far. We still got almost a minute left, 56 seconds left here in the second or 3rd quarter, and 18-16 lead for Snohomish. Now Monroe gets a chance to get it back, and I have a feeling we're probably going to see a lot more of Gabe Moore.
And you look at it for Monroe, they're a team that's on the rise. We talked about last year, their best season in 19 years. They come into the game 2-3, but 1-0 in conference. Snohomish, on the other hand, just one win this year. They're 1-4 overall, and they lost their first conference game. So they're looking for that first conference win, looking for something to kickstart their season. And Snohomish last year had a very tough start, but they rebounded in league play and reeled off 3 straight wins and then beat Arlington in the Kansas City-style tiebreaker to get into the playoffs. So they want a repeat of what happened last year.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said earlier about Monroe building their program up, for Snohomish, a team that hasn't had a lot of success recently. They get to the playoffs last year. You want to come back and get to the playoffs this year. A lot of it depends on who you have leading your team as far as senior leadership. But they need, if they can get this win, this is a nice little springboard to the rest of their season.
Shelton really showing his leg there as Moore goes back into the end zone and falls back for the touchback. So the Bearcats will begin on the 20-yard line. A reminder, if you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like this game you're enjoying here tonight, tell your school to sign up for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Start at the 20-yard line. This is going to be a long drive if they're going to get a score out of it, but they're going with a power set, it looks like.
Second drive of the second half for Monroe. A quick hit to Gabe Moore, 3 yards on the run. Hunter Bingham back under center. The second drive for Bingham is the team's quarterback.
Yeah, and Bingham showed them that, hey, go ahead and leave me in, coach, because I'm going to make you plays whenever I have a chance. He's a good athlete, maybe not quite the same athlete that Price is, but showed a good arm on the throw, the touchdown throw to Moore, and he's also a threat to run the ball as well.
Dick Abrams, the veteran coach in his second season with the Bearcats, leaving him in. Bingham on the option, nothing there, and engulfed by red jerseys. A 1-yard loss on the play. And in on the tackle was Josh Sharp. It looked like in as well was another defender, Kyle Yeoman, helping out on the tackle.
Yeah, Yeoman's a guy that we've called his name a lot on the defensive side of the ball as well. But I think right now you'd have to say that his offensive production is really what's told the story of his game.
And that will do it for the third quarter. Snohomish with the lead, 18-16. We'll take a break and come back with all the fourth quarter action. You're watching the Snohomish Panthers and the Monroe Bearcats on PlayOnSports.com. Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium in Snohomish. And what a game we have here. Homecoming night for the Snohomish Panthers. They have the lead, but not by much. 18-16, the Panthers lead the Monroe Bearcats. Along with Scott Eklund, I'm Chris King, joining you here tonight in a third quarter, Scott, that kind of saw more of the same. These two teams in a very close matchup here tonight.
Yeah, two rebound scores. Snohomish gets the final 2 scores of the first half. They get 2 touchdowns to end the first half, go in 15-9. Monroe comes right back out, drives all the way down the field, gets a touchdown on a big play, but then Snohomish comes right back, gets a field goal to go back on top. It's been a fun game so far. This fourth quarter should be pretty exciting.
And to start off here, it is 3rd and 9 for the Bearcats. Their own 21-yard line, 3 men in the backfield. Hunter Bingham, the quarterback movement. And was it induced? If it was, the man who bit was Dustin Wiseman for Snohomish.
And I don't even think he was given a hard count on that. I think Wiseman just got a little antsy and wanted to get in and make a play because they had a feeling he was going to try and get back there and throw the ball. So now that gives Monroe a much easier play to make here to extend this drive and keep it going.
3rd and 4 after the penalty. A quick recap on how we got to this point. Monroe went up 9-0 in the second quarter. The second half of the second quarter, we saw 4 turnovers, 3 of them by Monroe. That allowed Snohomish to score 15 unanswered. They were up 15-9. And in the third quarter, Snohomish able to hang on to the lead, but just by 2 points. Gabe Moore pinballs off a pair of defenders, and he'll have the first down. He was flailing his way to the 30-yard line, but it should be enough.
Yeah, great run in there by Moore. Found the crease. I thought he actually had a chance to take it outside a little bit further, but no, he cut it right up and was able to get that first. I think he got this first down, but they're going to measure it just to make sure.
So we'll have to see. It is right there, the nose of the football at the 30-yard line.
See, I don't even know why they're measuring this. It's touching the 30-yard line. It was a touchback, so they had the ball on the 20. That's a first down. This isn't something that we'd even need to measure.
It is right there. Interesting to read the article earlier this week in the Everett Herald about how one of the replacement officials, the man who is underneath the field goal for that Baltimore-New England Sunday night game who made the call, is a guy from Marysville who's a high school football official. So it makes me think, and they said he was going to be at the Shorewood Shorecrest game tonight. So amazing to think he was doing Sunday night football just a couple weeks ago, and here he is back doing some WESCO action. But I don't think we had any replacement officials here, and they're going to say it is just short. So 4th and just shy, and Monroe will have a decision here.
I think Monroe's going to end up going for this, but it's a tough call because if you get stopped, you're
excellent field position.
It's great
for
field
Snohomish.
position for a team that's up on you by 2 right now. If they go in for a touchdown, now you're down 9. That's 2 scores. But if you're Monroe, you're saying, hey, we've been able to pop at least a yard almost every play that we've run tonight. There's been that I can see. There's only been 3 negative plays at this point, and 4 negative plays on the running. So
looks like it will be up to the center Tanner Lippincott, the guard Alex Vitican, and Brendan Brown as they try to push it forward on the sneak. And do they have it? It looks like it should be, as you see that far official has his foot out past the 40-yard line, and it's enough.
And on that one, Bingham just saw it and said, hey, I'm going to just follow my center right over and get this first down and get us 4 more downs.
Lippincott, who also handles the kickoffs for Monroe. A busy man there tonight, leading the charge. 18-16, Monroe trails by 2.
That's something that's always fun about high school football is you got kickers. Oh, I'm sorry, you got linemen being kickers or kickers being linemen, whatever you want to call it.
So a fresh set of downs to work with for the Bearcats. Still 3 mid in the backfield. They give it to Gabe Moore, stretching it out to the far side. He has plenty of room. A first down, a stiff arm, puts him out to the 50. Into Snohomish territory. Still going out to the 30, and finally brought down at the 20-yard line. A long scramble, and the Bearcats find themselves in the red zone.
Yeah, 19 yards. I'm sorry. I'm adding things up in my head. I was a journalism major. I wasn't a math major. So we're looking about a 50-yard run right there for Moore, and really the first big play that he's been able to break out on for the Bearcats, and it's got them in prime position to go in and score a touchdown and get the lead back.
50 yards on the nose on the pickup for Gabe Moore. A little over a minute into the fourth quarter, the Bearcats trailing by 2. They jumped ahead to the 9-0 lead. Took the lead for a moment in the third quarter, but Snohomish able to answer back with a 38-yard field goal.
And that
the ball's on the ground as it comes out, and Snohomish looks like they have it. All of a sudden, the pigskin squirted out on the ground, and a fumble that the Panthers are able to recover.
Wow. Huge momentum swing right there. Just cannot have that. That's their 4th turnover of the night. And that's just huge. You've got yourself in a great position. Now you're asking your defense, all right, guys, you got to hold tight so that we can do something here.
Isaac Meyer, the Snohomish Panther who came up with it. He gobbles up that loose ball. 10:38 left to go in the game. The Panthers with the lead and with the ball back. So, boy, you had that 50-yard pickup by Gabe Moore. And they give up the ball right after. An excellent point. Turnover number 4 for Monroe. Snohomish starts at their 16-yard line. Dene, the quarterback, hands it off, and not much there For the ball carriers, Peter St. Marie, actually a 1-yard loss on the play, just to the 15.
Yeah, and that's a play where you could obviously see that he is not 100% because that looked like it had plenty of room out there. Russell Crippen was blocking his guy. His guy comes off, but St. Marie isn't able to do anything about it. He isn't able to plan. He's probably only playing at 75, 80%, but it is his senior year. You want to get him some carries. He wants to get out there and help his team any way that he can. But that was a play that had yardage left on the field.
2nd and 11, the Monroe defense looking for a big stop after the offense coughed up the ball. They pitch it out to St. Marie once more, and nothing there again. Another tackle for a loss. St. Marie brought down.
Another 2-yard loss there for St. Marie. So really struggling to get out and make some plays right now. And you got to hand it to this Monroe defense because they said to themselves, hey, we've now turned the ball over, given this ball back. We need to get this ball back in good field position for our offense and let them come in and get us this win because if Monroe wins this game, they're back at 500 and they're 2-1, 2-0 in their conference. So that's something that's going to be huge for them, and this is something that they really need. Snohomish needs it too, though.
So much on the line for both squads. The sophomore Alex Vidican with that last tackle. 3rd and 13, losing yards on the last 2 carries. This time it will be a pitch. Do we have a trick play? Potentially we do. The pass will be left short, and attempting the pass for Snohomish was Peter St. Marie before being chopped down.
Yeah, and you can see it as he's walking off. He's really feeling it. He is not 100%, and they actually had Crippen. They wanted to get Crippen deep, but Crippen was covered by 2 men down the field. So not really anything open, even if he had time.
Last time we saw Snohomish being forced to punt it deep in their own territory, it turned out to be a safety when the snap went over the head of the punter, Colin Shelton. But this time, more breathing room. They're at their 13-yard line, and Gabe Moore stalking back to the 45, awaiting for the return.
And Gabe Moore is a dangerous guy. He did fumble a punt earlier in this game, but he is a dangerous guy on punt returns.
Under 9 minutes to go in the game. Down by 2, the Bearcats look to get the ball back. The punt is off. A high kick that will bounce at the 45-yard line, take a very friendly hop for the Bearcats, and it will be down at the 37 coming in and grabbing the ball, Gavin Jones for the Panthers.
Yeah, it was short, and Moore let it bounce and was trying to signal his teammates away, but one of his teammates just stopped right in front of him. So I don't know what he was thinking, but usually on those you're yelling fire, 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 and the guys are supposed to basically make a 90-degree turn and run out of bounds as fast as they can.
So here Monroe with an excellent opportunity, down by 2. Here we are at Veterans Memorial Stadium tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm with Scott Eklund, Chris King here. It's Gabe Moore again as he has stood up straight. Had that initial yard or 2 to work with, and then it completely was taken away. And no surprise, Kyle Yeoman with the tackle.
Yeah, you could tell the way that was tackled. He really is a physical player. I like this kid a lot. I think he's definitely got to be a candidate for the player of the game, at least at this point.
It's like a wrestler when they're both from the standing position. A couple grizzly bears going after each other. In this case, it's one grizzly bear that you're being ran into. So only 1 yard on the run. That clock continues to tick. 8 minutes and counting to go in the game. Gabe Moore stretching it out to the far side, similar to the 50-yarder we saw him pick up before. He has the first down before he's knocked down right at the 20-yard line, a 17-yard run. And Monroe back at the spot they were before fumbling the football on their last drive.
Yeah, now let's see if they can do something. Who had the fumble on the last? I didn't see it. Who had the fumble on the last drive?
I couldn't see it either.
Okay.
Isaac Meyer came up with it.
Okay, so if it wasn't more, he right now is at 139 yards right now.
And a timeout will be called by Snohomish. So both teams have used a timeout so far. 2 remaining for both squads. Clock stops with 7:50 to go in the game. A reminder, PlayOnSports.com, not only your destination for Friday night football action, but also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events and all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
And right now, if you're Snohomish, you're coaching your guys, look, guys, we just need to stay in our lanes. We need to make sure that we're playing exactly what we're supposed to play, disciplined football. Don't get out and make mistakes on your assignments. And if you're Monroe right now, you're saying, guys, let's just keep this rolling. Let's keep this going. We've got it going on the ground. Moore is really starting to wear this defense down. He's had some of his biggest runs here in the last 3 carries. So something to keep an eye on the rest of the way. 7:50 left.
And both times when he's been able to get to the edge as well. 1st and 10, movement.
And that's just so frustrating for coaches because they're looking at the ball. That's what you have to do, is just look right at the ball instead of going on inflection.
And it was the Panthers who bit.
I think it was 2 guys that bit. Yeah. Wow. So now you're 1st and 5 from the 15-yard line. And on this situation, maybe I let Bingham throw the ball a little bit. Although they have just been driving it down pretty well on the ground.
You have to think, though, those 4 turnovers, though mostly through fumbles, have to replay through their heads. Another handoff for Monroe on 1st and 5. And forward progress, actually giving that a pretty good gain. Down near the first down marker at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it was a 4-yard gain right there. And quick hitter, I always like those quick hitters just to see what you can bust right there. Every now and then, probably 1 out of every 10, you're going to bust for a bigger for a bigger gain than you're expecting. But you're hoping to get at least 2 or 3 yards out of it. Just see what you can find, poke away, and see what you can find.
2nd and 1 at the 11-yard line. Hunter Bingham has been the only quarterback in the second half. Mitchell Price was the sole man under center in the first. They hand it off and tripped up, chopped down is Max Blaze. He does not get the first down, so we'll bring up 3rd and short, but not as close as it was before. Ooh, at the spot, it will just be no gain. I thought he might have lost a yard.
Yeah, it did look like he lost a yard, but he was able to get it back, and it's still only 3rd and 1. And even if you don't get this, now here's where you got to take care of the ball, because even if you don't get this, your kicker, at least we saw from earlier tonight, has the leg to get it in there, and that could give them a 1-point lead. So they have to take care of the ball on this. You want to get a touchdown, but you definitely want to set it up for a first down.
3rd and 1 from the 11-yard line. First down accomplished to near the end zone. That pile kept moving. It's down to the 2-yard line, a 9-yard pickup, and Monroe in excellent position here, 1st and goal.
Yeah, right there, Bingham decides to keep it right there, gets a 7-yard gain out of it, and has them poised right on the doorstep of scoring a touchdown and going back ahead.
I was going to mention Tanner Olson. Both teams with good field goal kickers, as we already saw tonight. Colin Shelton hit a 38-yarder. Olson has previously kicked a 37-yarder. But the Bearcats down by 2 would love nothing more than not to worry about that. Just punch it in. Hunter Bingham here trying to do it himself. Their first touchdown of the game was a quarterback sneak, and not this time, though he gets it very, very close.
So close that the football is practically touching the touchdown, the end line right there.
You'd have to think they might go with that play again. We saw earlier on that 4th down play when they decided to go it pretty far into their own territory that they went with the sneak and they were able to get enough of a push. And here they have about the same distance, less than a half a yard.
All this running, and they're running the clock down. It's going to be about 5.5, 5:25 when they snap this ball, and here we go, touchdown.
Bingham plows forward, gets in, touchdown for the Bearcats, and they're back on top. Now 22-18, Monroe back with the lead with 5:27 left to go in the game.
Yeah, and we could be looking at just one more drive if Snohomish is able to get this all the way down, because both of these teams run the ball so much and they run it so well that we could be looking at only one more drive here in the game.
So we have had a fun one here tonight. This has been a back and forth affair between these two squads who maybe overall with their records they aren't so happy with, but they're in a spot where they can turn their season around and get it pointed in the right direction with the win tonight. And here we have a 2-point conversion being attempted by Monroe. We've seen one tonight by Snohomish, and it worked. The handoff goes to Gabe Moore, trying to find the corner, cuts back inside. He'll be stopped short.
And people might be asking, well, you were up 5. You would have been up 5 with a field goal. You only would have been up 6. Why do you go for it? And the reason is because even if Snohomish is able to go down and score a touchdown, they still have to kick that extra point. So you're always trying to make the other team chase points. And on that situation, they were able to stop you, so now they win with a touchdown.
A combination of Boomer Vorey and Jake Stahan with the stop on the play. 22-18 remains our score. The Panthers will get it back here. Both teams with 2 timeouts.
Yeah, and this is what high school football is all about. No matter what level you're playing at, no matter the quality of the teams, we're looking at 2 teams who are very evenly matched. They played each other very hard. It's a homecoming night. It's a very fun game to watch. It's been a lot of spirit going on and everything like that. So this is going to be fun this last 5.5 minutes.
5:27 exactly to go. A quick recap of how we got to this point. Monroe went up in the game 9-0, but then Snohomish, and helped out in large part by 3 turnovers committed by Monroe in the second quarter, able to score 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. They were up 15-9 at halftime. Monroe struck first in the second half. Gabe Moore with a touchdown reception from Hunter Bingham made it 16-15. The Bearcats up by 1. Colin Shelton answered back with a 38-yard field goal by Snohomish. The Panthers were up by 2, 18-16, and then that 1-yard Hunter Bingham touchdown run, capping off a long, grinding, excellent drive, really, for the Bearcats, giving Monroe the lead, 22-18, and that's where we stand. Lippincott kicking it off, a high kick taken back at the 10-yard line by the Panthers. Going straight up the middle. There's some room to go. Being chopped down is Boomer Vorey, who's had a kickoff return for a touchdown this year. Not a touchdown there, but he brings it to the 39 for the Panthers to start.
Yeah, good tackle there. Got upended, went over tea kettle, and but still gave them very good field position there on the 39-yard line. 5:22 left, as you mentioned. They're down 4. If you're Snohomish, you just tell you, be patient. We're going to make these plays. We're going to get this down, and we're going to get in and win it.
Homecoming for the Panthers here. Thanks for joining us in Snohomish tonight at Veterans Memorial Stadium. The handoff goes to St. Marie, tackled from behind, and makes it out to the 42, a 3-yard pickup on the first run of the drive.
Yeah, another way where Snohomish really loves to make their yards in between the tackles, especially with St. Marie. I still like Stitch right now. Got to get that guy to get the ball in his hands. He's been a real playmaker for him, and he's the lead blocker at this point in time. But he's a guy who's gotten them some yardage on some quick hitters as well.
Stitch scored the last touchdown for Snohomish, a 2-yard run from the fullback. Hey, we call him, and that's what he does. They give it to Stitch. He goes to the outside, nearly tripped up. He'll have the first down. Finally spun around for the stop. It was Mitchell Price who was able to get his hands on him and finally bring him to the turf.
I'd like to think that the Snohomish coaches overheard our conversation. They're next to us here in the next room, but they're smart. They know the guys who've made the plays for us. We got to get the balls in their hands, and I'd like to see them getting the ball in Russell Crippen's hand a little bit. But right now, their running game has been pretty good, and Stitch has been really making a lot of plays. They're up at the 50-yard line, under 4.5 left.
And this could be the last drive of the game, depending on how long this takes. 1st and 10 from midfield. We do have a penalty marker down, and the indication is it doesn't look good for Snohomish.
And on that one, Crippen was lined up incorrectly and moved as they were getting ready to snap the ball, and they threw the penalty flag on it.
So instead of 1st and 10, right smack dab at midfield, it will be 1st and 15, a little back into their own territory at the 45. Exactly 4:20 left to go in the game. The clock picks back up. 22-18, Monroe with the lead in this battle between these two WESCO North 4A squads. Stitch and St. Marie in the backfield. Janae under center. Pitches it back to St. Marie. Under pursuit in the backfield, and he will be dropped. Correction, it was Vorey on the run, and making the tackle, Hunter James, a linebacker, the senior. A big tackle for a loss.
Yeah, great pursuit by him. Came in, shot the gap, and actually showed great pursuit on that. Vorey isn't a bad runner either, so for him to get in there and make that play is unbelievable. So now we're looking at 2nd and, 23, 22?
22, a 7-yard loss on the play. Snohomish not moving in the right direction, and the clock not in their favor right now. 3:20 and counting left to go in the game, though they still have 2 timeouts. They need to pick up yards. They'll try to do it through the air. The pass, interception. Monroe gets it back. Putting his knee down is Peter Campman. But for the Bearcats, even though they might not get the extra yardage, a huge interception, and it's Monroe football up by 4 with 3:16 to go.
Yeah, just something you couldn't have right there. Now you need your defense to really pick you up, come up and make a play, make some stops, and they've only got 2 timeouts, so we'll see. They're going to have to stop the clock. And one thing that Monroe and Snohomish are both able to do is run the ball and run a lot of clock, and that's something that could happen here.
2 quick hits. Campman, his second interception of the game. Don't forget, Monroe's had a hard time holding on to the football as a whole. Gabe Moore, the ball carrier. The tackle made by Ty Carlson, but a flag comes in, and you have to think this could be a face mask penalty, where it was. Instead, it will be holding as Carlson came in high. Snohomish will not accept the penalty. The coaches over there waving their arms to the side. They do not want the penalty. They'll take the loss, and second down to come up. So Campman, 2 interceptions, but Monroe has had fumble issues in this game. And for Snohomish, you got to be going after that football, trying to knock it out with everything you can.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see who. I mean, you got to believe that we're going to get a huge dose of Gabe Moore here.
3 fumbles in this game for Monroe. Exactly 3 minutes left to go. 2nd and 13 from the 39-yard line. Bingham has led the way under center for Monroe in the second half. They were down 15-9 at halftime. 3 men again in the backfield. They go with the up back. A bit of a bruising run, and taking a hit or two is Max Blaze, but he plows forward. He'll be a yard shy of the original line of scrimmage. And Snohomish using a timeout. That's their second. Only 1 left. Clock stops, 2:45 left to go in the game.
Yeah, and right now you need to hold strong, get the ball back for your offense, and see if you can do something with this. Unfortunately for Snohomish, their offense isn't geared to go 80 yards in 2 minutes, so they're going to have to come up with something, manufacture a passing game, get some guys open. You really need to get the ball in the hands of your best, probably your best athlete at least on the team, and that's Russell Crippen.
And we have a long way to go before we get to this point, but a reminder to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. We'll select our player of the game, which we'll talk about as we get closer. We'll wrap up all the action from tonight's game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. 22-18, Monroe with the lead, looking to go to 2-0 in conference this year and to even it up at a 500 record, go 3-3. Snohomish, on the other hand, looking for their first conference victory and to go to 2-4 on the year. So we have our 2 ideas depending on the winner, and we'll get to that after this play on who our player of the game could be. Still time to have someone grab that away and become the player of the game. 3rd and 11. Bingham keeps it for himself. He's dropped right into the arms of Tanner Perry at the 40-yard line. Snohomish are not calling their final timeout right now. They are not electing to use it here. And the clock will burn down, and Monroe will bleed as much as possible as they will pump this off.
I don't know. I just disagree with that. Yeah, I think you call timeout, you get the ball back in your hands. It's much easier to kill the clock on offense than it is on defense. So, hey, if they go on and win it, I don't know, but I think this is a bad call on their part.
Our 2 ideas right now, the man back to punt, Gabe Moore, an excellent candidate for player of the game, and Kyle Yeoman if the Panthers are able to win this. And we will have a timeout be called as what it looks like, or a delay of game. So Monroe will just burn as much time as possible. They'll move back the 5 yards.
So Snohomish is going to get the ball back with probably about 1:45 left, maybe a little less than that. And just kind of depends on what kind of a return the punt returner. Is that Crippen back there?
It looks like it is. We've seen Gabe Moore unleash a deep punt here tonight. 1:57 to go. 4th and 17. Moore with time. He gets it off. Not too deep of a punt, but quite the high one. Crippen calls for a fair catch, steps up into it at the 43-yard line. Snohomish Panthers down by 4. Their mission is clear. 1:51 left in the game, and they've got to march down and hit pay dirt to win it.
Yeah, 68 yards in 1:51 seconds, and boy, they're really gonna have to get some plays here out of their quarterback. Their quarterback is gonna have to make the right calls, right decisions to get their guys down the field.
Kyle Janae under center, 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line, and this seems fitting for how close this game has been, that it comes down to this, the final drive of the game, and it's on the line right here. Here we go. Janae drops back with some time, forced to scramble out over to the right, hot under pursuit. He's still up and is brought down from behind. I think he wants a face mask. Looked like he was brought down from the back of the pads, and the clock continues to run while Snohomish is trying to make their case for the penalty. They're a yard short of the first down, and the clock continues to run, 1:30 and counting.
Wow, that sure did look like he got the face mask, but, we're a good 50 yards away, so who knows?
Second
get
and
outside,
one.
get out of bounds.
Pass caught by Tanner Perry. He does get out of bounds. So the stop would have stopped momentarily for the first down as they move the chains, but they don't have to worry about that. He's out of bounds, 1:13 to go, and 1st and 10.
Yeah, you've got some guys sucking wind a little bit, so you want to get them a breather, not have to run up to the line and make some plays here. From Monroe, you just want to keep everything in front of you. I don't want to call it a prevent defense, but you don't want to have anything in front, anything get behind you, and if at all possible, you don't want to let guys get outside.
1st and 10 from the 43. It's a touchdown or bust here for the Panthers. The pass batted down, incomplete. Good pressure coming in from Monroe, and it was Hunter James, a name we've called a lot, getting his hands on it.
Yeah, good job. They always say when you're rushing the quarterback, if you're not going to get to the quarterback, get your hands up, and you can always make a play. Their quarterback isn't very big on the Snohomish, so that's something where you can get your hands up and maybe make a play, get the ball up in the air, maybe get an interception, but more than anything, just prevent it from getting a completion.
Only 3 seconds coming off the clock with the play. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion.
You know what? I might run a draw play out of this. Have these guys get their ears pinned back, and you can just run a draw play, but they're not set up to do that.
Stitch in the backfield, only one timeout. The pass goes up, a dangerous one, and it is incomplete. Crippen, the intended target, sailing just out of the reach of his outstretched hands.
Yeah, we're looking at 3rd and 10, and once again, this Snohomish offense is not built for something like this, so this is kind of new territory for them. What you really need to do is you really want to get 5 to 8 yards out of this play. You don't have to get the first down. You'd love to get it, obviously, but if you can give yourself 4th and 2 or 3, that'll give yourself an opportunity to actually have a realistic shot. And watch out for Yeoman on this play.
Big crowd here on homecoming night here in Snohomish at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Monroe looking for their 2nd conference victory. Both would be on the road if they can hang on to it. The Panthers looking for their 1st conference victory of the year. The pass is caught, a first down, and moving backwards. Ooh, that was a questionable decision to try to cut backwards by Aiden Kutch, his first reception of the game. And it will be a yard short. That might have cost them there. They have to use their timeout. Stops the clock with 53 seconds.
Yeah, and on that, he's coached that he wants to get outside, which is fine on his part, but you got to make sure you have the first down. And unfortunately there, he lost yards, and now we're looking at 4th and 1. And what you can do here is you can run a dive play, because if you get the first down, you have to get a first down. It's first down or bust. So you run a dive play, something they're very good at, especially with Kyle Stitch running the ball. He's done nothing but run the ball well tonight. Get the ball to him, get a first down, call 2 plays, just so everybody knows, hey, we're going to run the dive play, and then we're going to run whatever play for the next one, and then make sure you get out of bounds.
So this is it. If Snohomish can't convert here, that is the game. Monroe looking for a big stop. The Panthers trying to keep the drive alive. 4th and 1. From the Monroe 34-yard line, 53 seconds left to go. The Panthers out of timeouts now, using their last one to stop the clock here. A big crowd here on homecoming night.
I think Monroe's going to concede the first down if they want it.
2 men in the backfield. Janae, the quarterback, drops back on 4th and 1. It's an interception. Monroe takes it, and they just need to go out of bounds, go down. That's the game at this point. An unconventional call to try to pass it on 4th and 1 turns into an interception, and Monroe plays spoiler on homecoming for the Panthers. The Bearcats come in and stop Snohomish.
I don't know what happened on that. It looked like the quarterback thought he was going to run a quick hitch, and the receiver ran down and ran more like a 10-yard curl. I don't know. Besides that, I don't understand why you throw a pass on that play when you can get the clock stopped.
Well, I know the Monroe Bearcats aren't arguing. They
No,
have the
they're
ball. Not. And all they need to do is take a knee. Probably two
knees,
here. 2 knees, 2 plays, all that stands between them and the victory. Hunter Bingham steps up, takes the first, and we talked about it, the post-game show, and I think we've spoken about it, but Gabe Moore, our man for the player of the game.
Yeah, he had 25 carries for 143 yards on the night, no touchdowns, and actually had that one costly punt return muff that he had that led to Snohomish's first points on the night. But you know, overall he was just a big playmaker for him, and he really wore down that Snohomish defense and really made the big plays in the second half that they needed.
What a game we had here tonight, and that is officially it. Monroe picks up the victory in a nail-biter here in Snohomish. 22-18 the final. The Bearcats 3-3 on the year, 2-0 in the WESCO 4A North. Snohomish moves to 1-5 on the year and 0-2 in conference. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. We'll give you a recap, tell you how all the scoring happened, and we'll also have our player of the game, Gabe Moore, come up and join us here in the booth. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the Monroe Bearcats and the Snohomish Panthers on PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium here on the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. A victory for Monroe, 22-18. And what a game we had here tonight. Taking a look back at how the scoring happened. Right now we're working on wrangling Gabe Moore, our player of the game. He certainly has a lot of people to cheer with at the moment as all the Monroe players are in front of the fans who made the trip here. A great turnout by the Monroe Bearcats here in Snohomish. But taking a look at how everything happened in tonight's game, Monroe went up early. Mitchell Price, who was out, and we just noticed at the end of the game, in crutches. So Price, the quarterback for the first half, but came out in the second half. Hunter Bingham under center and doing a very good job and leading Monroe to the victory with the starter out injured. Mitchell Price had a 1-yard touchdown run to make it 7-0. And then a safety made it 9-0. A high snap with Snohomish pinned deep in their own territory that went off the crossbar. Bearcats up 9-0. Then the turnovers really started to hurt Monroe. They committed 3 in the second quarter, and that set up 2 touchdowns for Snohomish. Kyle Yeoman, who had a nice game both defensively and also as the tight end. Yeoman, a 26-yard touchdown reception, made it 9-7. 2 more turnovers after that, 3 altogether again in the second quarter. And it was a 2-yard run by Garrett Stitch. They made it 15-19. The 2-point conversion was good. And the Panthers here at home was up by 6 at halftime. Monroe came back in the second half. Our player of the game, Gabe Moore, caught that first touchdown. A 26-yard reception from Hunter Bingham made it 16-15, and then a 38-yard field goal from Colin Shelton, 18-16, but that would be it for the scoring in tonight's game for Snohomish, as Monroe would get a 1-yard Hunter Bingham touchdown run, 22-18 the final score. And then 2 interceptions by Monroe, sealing the victory. And right now we have joining us Gabe Moore. I'm sure the adrenaline has to be running high here after that game. What was it like to close it out and get the victory over the Panthers?
Well, I knew on that last 4th down we had to make a play, and so I just read my keys, and when I saw that pass, I just knew I had to get it to seal the game.
And what a game you had overall, not only in the backfield, had one heck of a night, 25 carries and 143 yards. You talked about what you did defensively, and as the punter as well, that has to feel so good just overall.
Yeah, it's great. I know that I have to go out there and help my team do whatever I have to do, and when I get a chance to make a play, I have to make it. And
we were talking in the first half that you're going to be feeling pretty sore tomorrow. All those carries you took, were you feeling it out there? Just how many carries you had to have, all 25 of those?
Yeah, well, I definitely had adrenaline going, so it didn't make it that bad. But, every Saturday morning I'm pretty sore.
And now with this victory, your team moves to 2-0 in conference. You had that close victory over Lake Stevens and a close victory here over Snohomish, both on the road. How much does that do for the team's confidence, being able to win on the road in these close games?
Well, it definitely boosts our confidence. We know we had some mistakes in both of those games, but we got to fix those for the next couple games. And we know we got to go into those games going tough.
And how much last year, such a big year for the Monroe program, your best year in a very long time, how much did that do to build the team's confidence moving forward?
Well, we definitely had a lot more guys come out that maybe wouldn't have come out if we didn't do as well. And, we're trying to build a winning program with Monroe. And so we just got to keep winning those games, and more people come out, and we'll keep doing better and better.
Talking with Gabe Moore here on the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. Not to take away from the celebration tonight, but up next, Arlington, a very, very tough team. I know your sole focus on Snohomish, but what do you know about that Arlington squad?
Well, they're definitely a good team, but I think if we play our best game, it'll definitely be a good game to watch.
Well, congratulations on a big victory tonight. 2-0 in the conference. That has to have a good sound to it.
Yeah, it definitely does. It feels great.
Well, congratulations. Go down there, celebrate with your teammates and your fans, and enjoy this one.
All right, thank you.
That's Gabe Moore here on the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. Our player of the game getting that final interception, serving as the punter, and boy, Scott, we were talking about it, 143 yards on 25 carries.
Yeah, he had a big night tonight. I wasn't that impressed with the way the Monroe was giving him. They weren't giving him a lot of yards or a lot of looks that he could make yards. I mean, in the first half, he had 3, a rush for 3, a rush for 1, a rush for 9, but then -1. 13, 10, 2, -3, 4, 13, 3. You just kind of go on that. And then his last 4 carries only went for 9 yards on 4 carries. So, but then in the second half, his first 2 carries go for none. Then he goes 3, 5, 50, 1, 17, and 4. And then he gets the interception to get the, to cap off our night. He knew we were voting him for the the player of the game. So of course he had to get the interception just to make it look that much better.
That just gave him a landslide victory.
Exactly. But I mean, you cannot take away from what Snohomish brought tonight. Those guys never gave up, because it really looked like that Monroe was going to be able to go up and down the field on them, especially when they go in on the first drive and get a touchdown. Even though it looked like it was going to be an interception, it wasn't. But I was really impressed with the fight that Snohomish had. They just need to have some guys make a few more plays. And, not to get too much on the quarterback, but they lost a lot in the quarterback game, because everybody knew, especially on that last drive, that they were going to have to throw the ball, and their quarterback just wasn't up to the task.
Well, the final score tonight, 22-18. Again, Monroe with the victory, 3-3 on the year, 2-0 in the WESCO 4A North, and Snohomish falls to 1-5 on the season and 0-2 in conference. Next week, Monroe will have Arlington coming up, And then the Snohomish Panthers will take on Mount Vernon. They'll head up north to Skagit County to take on the Bulldogs. Well, an excellent game here tonight. We thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com. For Scott Eklund and the entire Play On Sports crew, thank you for joining us, and we will see you down the road. The final score again, Monroe with the victory tonight over Snohomish, 22-18. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.